Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now in session for this regular meeting Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. It's good to see you all here this morning. We have a lot on the agenda, so we're going to get started. Commissioner Croom, can you lead us in prayer?
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for putting us in the position we are in to help serve and lead this great county that we reside in. We ask you for continued protection and guidance, and remember to keep you first and do the best interests of our county. And Lord, as Resurrection Sunday is coming, we want to remember you and thank you for dying on the cross for all of our sins. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Brown, does anything need to be added to the agenda, or does it need to be amended in any way before we approve it?
Yes, not added but amended,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. So first, I would like to move up my discussion, item 14 about code enforcement. I would like to move that up, let's see here, before you do any of your department directors' reports, after public comments. The reason being the sheriff has, as you can see, quite a few of his staff here today, and there I would like to expand that discussion to now include RVs, campers, and the possibility of the sheriff working closer or with Ms. Smith under code enforcement. He would like to bring that under his fold because we have resolved some of the issues we had the last time. A lot of those are now resolved, and he thinks together they can accomplish more with the support of his staff. So I'd like to have that discussion, make it early so that these fine gentlemen that are sitting in the back room could don't have to sit all day, and they could leave and do all the things the sheriff wants them to do. So, yeah.
Okay, so that would be right after public comments?
Yeah, I would if you don't mind, Commissioner.
Okay.
Also, Jennifer Daniels does not have a report, but she is online. She would like to address you about something that came up late yesterday about a burn ban. So she's online about that to discuss that with the board, so know that she is there. And I think that's it for now. I just love it. We have a very cool deal here with the supervisor of elections and her sticker contest. That's very cool. I know some of you thought when you saw Lauren walk in the door she was coming back. Wrong answer. That's not what she's here for.
Darn it.
You don't have to dash hope that quickly, okay?
Hey.
All right, anything else, Mike, or is that it?
I hope that's it for now, sir.
Okay. So we need a motion to amend the agenda as it's been published and then use it for the rest of this meeting.
So moved. Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Anderson. It's been seconded by Commissioner Croom. Commissioners, do you have any discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the agenda has been amended. All right, so up next we're approving minutes and paying the county bills. The minutes we have in front of us are from our regular meeting on March 4th of this year and the special meeting we had on the 25th of March from this year.
So move. Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward. It's been seconded by Commissioner Sanders. Commissioners, do you want to discuss anything before we vote? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Ms. Heather Riley, we're up to you. You have a presentation for us this morning?
I do. Good morning. At the beginning of the year, we issued an invitation to our middle and high school students across the county to participate in an I Voted sticker contest. We issued a challenge for them to create something that was civically minded, that was county minded, that was colorful and fun. And we had great participation from ABC Middle School. And I want to present our winners here this morning. If I could ask Ms. Ella Donahoe and Ms. Thea Croom to please come forward. They did a fantastic job in representing our county with their artwork. And first, I want to present Miss Ella Donahoe with her first place certificate and a check for $50. and Miss Thea Kroon with her second place certificate and a check for $25. And we're just so thankful that they participated in this. All of the artwork is just beautiful. Anybody that wants to come look at the artwork, it's hanging in our early vote room, so it's there, and it also has little plaques underneath that tells why they chose the artwork that they did. And I also want to give Miss Ella a copy of what her sticker is going to look like. And every voter in the primary and general election will have the opportunity to either get this I voted sticker or the 250th anniversary sticker this year. But we want to thank them for their participation, and we're so proud, and we hope next year we have even more participation. So thank you both so much.
Miss Heather, y'all come up here so we can take some pictures, please.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, she was right. She can act like she knows her father doesn't. Guys ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations,
Good job.
Mr. Krug, you're not even in a bracket.
Wait, hold on.
Ladies,
Hold on.
hold on 1 second.
Y'all ain't free to go yet. Ain't getting off that easy.
They're ready to get up out of here.
I know.
Mr. Chairman, I did ask, I didn't see Thea come in before the meeting, but I did see Ella, and I asked her if she was going to give a speech. No speech? Okay, no. Congratulations, girls. I did see the stickers, y'all's. I'm going to come later and look at the other stickers, but phenomenal job, and of course, I'm going to get the one that you wrote, that you did, Ella. And is there a way, Miss Heather, they can get a roll of this stickers for like a souvenir? Okay. There you go.
I'd like to pre-order about 200 of them.
There you go. There you go.
There you go.
That's right. Congratulations, girls. Job well done. Thanks.
Mr. Chair, I didn't even know Thea was doing this until I got the call that, she got second place when I was on my trip. But I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of Ella. And what I want to do for the girls is I want to give you two a piece of our Franklin County artwork on behalf of the commission. Y'all get my last 2 pieces of artwork. So y'all come back up.
We need to get some more of these.
We did.
I don't have any more left. Gave them all out. I guess now that.
Anyone else?
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, congratulations, ladies. Y'all did a wonderful job. Your community's proud of you, and I know your parents are proud of you. So keep up the good work.
As one of the ones that was able to do the judging for this, I've already seen all this artwork, and it was very hard to pick. Y'all made it very difficult, but thank you for everything you do. We really enjoyed it, and you should be proud.
I can't believe how much they've grown. Seeing Ella, especially as a little girl, and now she's growing up and getting interested in things like this. You never do know. She may be another woman county commissioner in this county. How about that? And also Commissioner Kroon's daughter. She throws a mean ducky off the back of a golf cart during it. Yeah, she does good there too. So thanks, girls, for doing that, being interested in that, and that's part of what makes Franklin County special.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr.
I guess. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Commissioner Sanders, one thing that you said about the commission, because I actually thought about that the other day when I was by myself, it's leadership and people that win first and second place, and class presidents that usually end up in these seats right here. So
Yeah.
I think y'all 2 girls have a bright future ahead of y'all too. So.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I will say that I was, I think, treasurer of my class one year, but never president.
Sorry, treasurer, historian.
Well, I have to say,
Oh, that's funny.
I have to
IHS class of
say,
97.
yeah, I have to say that when I was in school, that was just a few years ago, and we had a civics and government class back then that they don't have now. You know, a lot of them don't have civics and government. And I was Speaker of the House back then, so you know what it means right there. So government's been in my life all my life, and it's not about a politician. It's about serving with a servant's heart and being a public servant to the people, and that's what it's about. So anyway, enough of that. But thanks, ladies, for coming in and letting us see a little part of y'all.
Share this moment. It's been great.
And thank you, Supervisor of Election, of
Yes,
affording
yes.
our county this opportunity to do that. That was a
That's a good
great idea.
Yeah. I guess y'all, Mr. Chairman, y'all are free to go, but did the girls get to stay the rest of the day out of school? No?
No.
I tried,
Well,
I
it's a
tried,
short- It's a
sorry.
short school week already, so.
We
guess
tried,
it's
that's
pretty
all we
good,
do is
yeah.
ask.
Y'all have a happy Easter.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Happy Easter.
If you was like the goofball of the class, I mean, you can still get there.
That's true. I wasn't
can't.
nothing.
That's right.
Hey, I wasn't nothing.
There's hope for those wayward souls out there.
She lucky to get me in school.
So now we're gonna move to public comments. I'm just taking them in the order I have them. James Grader.
Hi there, I'm James Grader at 108 22nd Avenue in Apalachicola, and I am speaking on behalf of the Moving Education Institute, which Frenchie Haynes here is a director of. I'm speaking from my personal experience as a volunteer there. I think Frenchie's trying to get some continued support for the program. But last summer was my first experience with the program, and I was volunteered. We did one project which some of you may have seen called Letters to Our Fathers. We created a video, it's about 6 minutes long. But this project incorporates many of the arts that the participants, the students, had to be very creative. It involved writing, reading, painting, choreography, and dancing. My part, the project was, Frenchie had asked several of the students to write letters about fatherhood. It could be about their fathers, it could be about their feelings of fatherhood. So that was a writing exercise. And then I recorded individually with my wife's help. We went into a private room and each one read their letters. So that involved speaking, kind of. I used to work at NBC. I sometimes recorded the announcers there, and it was like a producer, the talent, and an engineer. So that was kind of a professional experience for these students. Then my wife and I went through all these letters and edited sections out that we thought would be pertinent to a larger piece. And then I wrote some music that was going to be part of a kind of a dance performance piece. So I incorporated their fragments of what they were speaking with music that I wrote, created a soundtrack, and gave that to Frenchie. And the other part of the project was the students had to create paintings, like 5x7 paintings about fathers, and some of them are really abstract. They're really cool paintings. They were at the HCA this summer exhibition. So it involved painting and another creative aspect of it. And then these paintings were put on rollers, and they were incorporated into the choreography. So Frenchie and the students created a choreography for this performance piece, which we later recorded and I edited. So anyhow, it involved many aspects of the arts. I was really impressed with the students. I think they all learned a lot. They were very polite. It was a pleasure to work with them. So I hope the county can come up with some funds for it. I think it's a really valuable program, so.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Kathleen Bender?
And it's actually Kathleen Binder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like notebook, that's
Yes, ma'am.
fine. And I'm 108 22nd Avenue, and that's my husband, and he's actually very modest. He's an Emmy Award-winning editor. So these kids got to work with somebody that's had a lot of experience. Anyway, and we need Thea and Ella in this program next summer. My husband and I moved here, and we're hoping actually to do a music camp for kids. He is a composer. I'm sort of a would-be musician. But then we heard about Frenchie's program, and 2 years ago, we went to a performance, and these two old people sat there with tears running down their face. The kids were just so beautiful to watch. And so this last summer, we did get involved. I knew Jim was going to help them write music, but I contacted Frenchie at one point and said, with the kids, just thought it would, I've been trying to get kids to come to my house and paint a mural. I thought it'd be really fun to have kids do this project, because we don't have kids, and we like working with kids. Anyway, Frenchie said, no, they can't come to your house to do that, but would you be interested in helping them make paintings? So here I am not an artist. Ella and Thea would have been a better art facilitator than I was. So I went to Donna Engel's shop to get some advice. She donated some fabric. Then I contacted other artists in the community. And now, because of that, we have a potter this summer that's going to help the kids do pottery. So I do want to encourage you all. Frenchie's going to ask you for money. I think it's definitely worthwhile. No kid, it's free for the children. Some of the older children get paid to work with the kids. Frenchie doesn't get paid. Jim and I spent a bazillion hours on this project, and we're so glad we did. We are going to send you a video of Letters to Our Fathers. It will make you cry. It is so beautiful. It's very poignant. Some of these children do not have relationships with their fathers. They have complicated relationships with with their parents or that parent. But it's beautiful, and it's heartfelt and very creative. And anyway, I hope you support the project. I've watched Frenchie work with these kids. It looks like chaos when you go in. He has a fabulous rapport with them. He gets them to express themselves in ways I wouldn't expect. And let me just ask, have you all ever been to one of the MEI finales here? And okay, you have, Commissioner Croom? It's like watching joy. It is so joyful. And even if if you haven't been before, I encourage you to come to one of these the final performance, because it is joyful. And to see little ones this tall drumming is pretty amazing. So anyway, that's all. I have to just cheerlead about this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bender.
Yes, what? Oh,
I
you
said
said thank you? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Frenchie Hayes?
Good morning, Franklin County Commissioners. My name is Frenchie Haynes. I live at 210 17th Street in Apalachicola. I have been a citizen of Apalachicola since, for 36 years now, with my partner, Dr. Willie Tolliver. In 2021, at the end of the pandemic, I was offered the opportunity by Valentina Webb to start a summer arts intensive. And then back in 2021, it was a summer arts sports intensive. And it has grown over the last 5 years. I would say last year was our biggest and best year. We partner with FSU Panama City, FAMU Extension Program, a number of different nonprofit organizations that all provide in-kind services. As Kathleen mentioned, I'm not on salary, but I do get paid in many other ways. I'm a former New York City public school teacher and administrator in arts. I'm still a professional dancer, dance with Ailey, Alvin Ailey, Dance Theater of Harlem, Nikolai Dance Theater. I work with Merce Cunningham, so I have an intense professional background in dance. And when I met my partner 36 years ago, I said to him, when I retired, I'm going to start a summer arts program, and also at some point I'm going to bring dance and theater to Apalachicola. It happened in 2021 with the help of Valentina Webb and Career Source, Gulf Coast Career Source. Since 2021, we've expanded. We have visual arts, theater, playwriting. We have food growth, food justice, where the kids grow food, and that's in partnership with another nonprofit organization. We have West African dance, contemporary dance, hip hop, jazz. We've had tennis. This year we're going to have pottery free of charge. The only people that are on salary are the kids, because Career Source provides up to 15 kids with summer youth employment. They make $4,500 over 8 weeks. We expanded the program in 2023 to include 6 to 9-year-olds, because I think the younger we start them, the better chance they have at becoming productive citizens in our county and in the world. This year, we're at a $20,000 deficit. I've raised $30,000. It costs us $50,000 to do the camp. And that's providing space rental. FSU provides technology resources. The kids have become certified in Google Docs, Google Suite, and Google Slides. This year we want to expand that to creating websites and also an introduction to programming. This is all free of charge. And in 2023, we raised the funding to go from $547 per participant to $1,000 per participant over the 6 to 8 weeks. This year, we're back to $547. I'm trying to make up that deficit. In 2024, the county awarded us with $5,000. I would like to have you guys come back to support us again. We didn't get funding for last summer. And as Kathleen mentioned, we're not just an arts program. We're about supporting academics and having kids mentor and support each other to make it through life and provide life skills and learn how to work together and work side by side with professionals. They get to choose which professionals they want to work hand in hand with as an internship. Kids pick the arts, they pick dance, they pick music, they pick visual arts. Some of them want to do the food growth, food justice component. And what's really special about it is that they get to choose. We don't make them do everything. I couldn't see saying to, oh, Anthony, you're going to dance this summer because it's part of the program. If you're not interested in dance, you don't dance. It's a chance for a child to explore their creativity in a group setting where everybody is equal. I know I'm over my time, but I would love to have the county come back and be a community partner with Moving Education and our Community Moving Education Summer Program. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will send each one of you the videotape?
If you would just send it to
Yeah.
Mr. Morrow, he can get it to all of us.
Okay.
Yep. No problem. All right. Michael, we amended the agenda to talk about code enforcement now? Correct?
Yep.
Okay.
With public comment?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we are going to head to page 11. Page 10, very bottom, item number 4, my report. Thank you. Ooh, sorry about that. And Commissioner, I don't know if you guys noticed, so I've tried my best to start basically copy and pasting all of the action, informational discussion, any items that any of your, anybody's on the agenda that has for you, so you don't have to flip back and forth from the agenda to their actual reports. Should make it easier for you guys and for the public. So, all right. So, item 4 at our March 25th special meeting, Commissioner Ward asked that the process, to bring a code enforcement ordinance to the board for approval is considered a priority as we move forward. After the meeting, Commissioner Amison contacted me, and he asked if there were no objections from the other board members, he would like to take the lead on this project. His intention is to meet with staff, create a draft ordinance, perhaps using the draft ordinance that was discussed at a previous meeting, and the section of the Wakulla Code enforcement ordinance that applies to dangerous structures. I attached both documents as a starting point. The draft that is created from that meeting will be circulated to each commissioner for your comments. Then your comments, of course, will be incorporated into the draft ordinance. Then we will send that to the attorney for their review. And after the attorney's review, the board can then schedule a workshop and/or public hearing before final approval. The reason I asked the board to move this up today is because yesterday, Dwayne and James, some of the sheriff officers came in, and they're having a problem with RVs again. It's getting bad again. And they kind of wanted to know how we can work together to get the a stronger RV ordinance and to help with enforcement. We talked about that a bit. I talked about it with Steve and Angela. I said, you know what, I'll probably ask the board in the morning. My intention was to ask you guys to discuss that. And then at lunchtime, going to Izzy's, the sheriff was there. Actually, the sheriff and Shep, the assistant state attorney, they were outside. I met them, and we talked about that for a while. And the sheriff even said, look, he would really like you guys to consider, as we get closer to budget, code enforcement. He likes Sissy, Mrs. Smith, but he believes if she is working as part of the sheriff's department, then enforcement could even be, he thinks it'll be a better situation. Let me just summarize it to that level. He likes her, he likes the work she does, but he thinks she needs more enforcement backup, to be more effective, commissioners. I would tell you, I know we've discussed this before, but I think a lot of the problems we had in the past, that's been solved. Sissy certified. Actually, she is going for more classes here in a couple of months to enhance her certification. And there was a point brought up last time we discussed this, that maybe in the future, if Sheriff Smith was not the sheriff anymore, what we could do, I thought about that last night. The best thing to do would be, instead of putting money in his budget to fund an individual, a position, what we could do is create a contract with the sheriff's department that's renewed every year. And that contract would be similar to what we have right now with DOH to provide that. But that's for a later discussion. What I kind of wanted maybe James would come up, would explain to you some of what they're going through, dealing with right now with RVs, and how we have people setting up RVs in the right-of-way right now. And please, I'm going to say this, I know how people react. I'm not saying all, I'm not even saying most, but there are some cases where campers are being used for drug issues, sale, recreation, and I'm sure these gentlemen could maybe discuss that better than I can. But they would really like a closer relationship with the board and with code enforcement and the board, and for us to work for now, working moving forward, and a possible discussion of the sheriff just assuming code enforcement here in the future. We could do it as a trial basis for a year. The software, hopefully that'll be ready within the next 60 to 75 days. They're doing the front end of the software right now. Basically, they too had to prepare for ADA because, again, that ADA requirement coming up here on the 24th, Mr. Chairman,
Right.
is nationwide. That's not a Florida rule, that's a nation rule, so they have
Federal
customers
rule.
throughout,
Yes.
it's a federal rule, I'm sorry. And so they have customers throughout the state. So they're working on the front end to do that. And as they were doing that, Angela kind of told them some of the Commissioner Ward's comments about making it as easy as possible for the public to find information. Remember now, CitizenServe will now be doing they now do our billing department and the permitting, zoning and permitting, and now they'll be doing code enforcement. So they're redoing the front end first, and then they'll finish up code enforcement after that front end is completed.
So we're still waiting on them?
Yes, they're still working. They're working now, Commissioner. They're actually working with Angela now, but more on the front end. Afterwards, they'll do the back end.
They've already been working on that for a couple, 2 or 3 months, haven't they?
No, they just, well,
I thought we had this discussion before.
yeah, but it took a while. It was delayed before we actually got the agreement signed, Commissioner,
Okay.
so it hasn't been that long. I'm not gonna comment on the other software right now. That's
fine.
That's how I'm at. But I'd like to invite someone from the Sheriff's Department up, so maybe they do it, kind of reinforce what I was saying, and you guys could ask them questions. Again, we're not talking about the sheriff taking over code enforcement today. That's not for today, that's a future discussion. But I want you guys to know some of the problems. What I would like, in effect, is if you guys agree to allow Commissioner Emerson to take the lead with this. Not only is he looking to do the ordinance for dangerous houses, the one that needs to be torn down, let him go ahead and do a new RV camper ordinance at the same time. Remember, we had an ordinance, it didn't pass. We already had software designed to issue the permits that would tell that they would put on the side of a camper, and the Sheriff's Department could drive by and look from the road and see whether or not that permit was still valid, it expired, how long they've been there, do they fit within the 7 and 14 days, all those rules. We had an ordinance already for that. We had a software system. The chairman was key with that. So, we were almost there to that mark. I can't remember why that ordinance did not pass. I'm sorry, my memory fails me on that one.
I can tell you why.
But, yeah, so it kind of would be, allowing Commissioner Emerson to pick up that ball and run with that one too. And Commissioner Emerson, I know I'm tagging you with more than we talked about a couple days ago, but I'm hoping you don't mind picking up with both and doing both at the same time. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'm done. I'll let you do you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I will say that the thing with the RV ordinance, and I directed you guys way back when we got Bree on board. I think the big, and I met with Bree, and I met with Angela, and I met with all the people that were before them. We've got to get a handle on it. And the issue with the RV ordinance is, we all know we don't want to make anybody homeless. We also have the ordinance with the 7 to 14 days. That is, to me, stupid, okay? I'm just throwing that word out there. I know a lot of people don't like that word. But if you've got that, it's like I was explaining to Attorney Schuler one day. If you have an RV on a piece of property, you can move it just an inch, and that's technically moving it, and does that give you another 7 to 14 days? So there was some ambiguity in that. I've been pushing for code enforcement since I've been on this board. I'm going to continue to do it. I feel like we've come a long way, and I feel like that we are way further along than what we were. And I told somebody the other day, I feel like we're getting on the ball with it, and then I feel like we keep getting like hits with certain things that have happened up recently. But the RV ordinance is going to be very difficult, and that's one of the reasons why it didn't pass and why we've had so many issues with it. Is we've got a lot of people in our community, especially in my district. My district is the world's worst about the RV situation, and it's something we got to look at too. I see both sides, but again, I feel like the blighted structure ordinance and the RV ordinance, very important issues, and we definitely need to to get them done sooner than later. And I know you and I talked about the software, and just so the rest of the board's aware, I'd rather them work on this software and get it basically applicable to our county, not Gulf County, Wakulla, we're all different. And I asked Sissy and Sissy to be involved with it too, because she's the one that's going to be utilizing the software. And I wanted it as user-friendly for not only her, because she's the one going to be doing the software, and Angela, but also for for us to be able to go on there, and our citizens to be able to go on there too, just to make it as transparent as possible. So I told Michael, I said, what's another month or two to get it perfect? Because I'd rather get it perfect than, and I know there's going to be tweaks that need to be made along the way, but I'd rather have something very good and very, very easy to do versus it not being what we want and then having to go back 2 months later and reinvent the wheel. A whole nother program or a whole nother little intricacy in that program. So that's what I feel about that. And I'll help any which way. I know Commissioner Amos and I can't talk about it, but if he wants to help with the RV or whatever, I'll be more than happy to help out any which way I can. So
I personally don't have no problem with Commissioner Amison
Yeah,
doing what has been requested.
Yeah.
I think he's a good one to do
as
it
long as
with.
he's adding the RV to it. And he agreed to the other, but he's been bowling told here on the spot.
It happens.
Yeah.
You still want to do it, Alice?
Just to let y'all know, after the last meeting, and we've had this even with the RV ordinance and with code enforcement, we've had enough dialogue right here, and we're all familiar with the county as a whole. So I see where we're having, roadblocks amongst each other with our separate districts. My train of thought with Michael is, hey, why don't I just get with staff, because they're boots on the ground. They're the ones that sees more than what we do on a day-to-day basis. Let's just get a good collective group in there and sit down. Let's take what we have and tweak it, because I think I could find a good balance. Because at the end of the day, we got to count to 3 to get something done. And I think we can get in there and get it done, rather than trying to each one of us piece this together, calling an attorney. It just don't seem to be. I don't know how it's went for years and years, and don't really care. I just look forward. But I think it would be a better transition to getting something passed. If we can do that collectively, get something together, get it out to the commissioners, all of us take a look at it, and y'all know me, I got thick skin. If you don't like something, tweak it, and then we can get it to the attorney versus individuals. And this is no reflection on the attorneys, but they're sitting there. He's sitting there listening to 5 different people trying to put something together. I think it's a lot smoother process if we do it this way, and I don't mind doing it. But in the RVs, I've got some, again, in my district, not as bad as your district, but I have that same issue. I don't want to create a homeless situation, and I've got some ideas with that. And I've had discussion with staff on it in the past of ways of doing that ordinance with the RVs, concerning the RVs, to where it would, over time, kind of clean itself up. I've got some ideas. I'll get with staff, we'll get it on paper, we'll get it out, everybody take a look at it, we'll play around with it, and maybe we can find something we can all digest, and that's what I'm trying to accomplish with that.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just echo that. I feel like, too, it gets frustrating for me as a commissioner, because a lot of the complaints I get are code enforcement related. It does seem like a long process. I mean, here we are. We first started talking about RVs, been a problem before I was on the board. I've been on the board 6 years, and it's kicking that can down the road. I'm tired of kicking cans down the road. I want something that we can, like Commissioner Amison said, it does seem like there's a lot of process, and every time we come for a public hearing, we always table it because of some reason or another, which is why we decided to go with the public workshop. But still, that's again a delay because we have to advertise. It just delays things. I feel like the way Commissioner Amos is talking about, we may not need a public workshop. I know I would like the public to be involved, but if we tweak it enough, I mean, of course, a public workshop is important too, so that the public can put their, speak their piece instead of having it at a public hearing, thus changing things on the fly from what the public says as well. So I just want to get all this stuff hashed out. I know right now I was talking about the blighted ordinance as a priority, but now the RVs is a priority, which they've always kind of been a priority. We just kind of been kicking that can that we don't need to kick no
Well,
more.
in some cases, they go hand in hand.
They do.
Yeah, slow down. Mr. Chairman, to follow up on Commissioner Ward, so I think this process that Commissioner Amison is talking about is going to, how it's going to help is, I don't think we're going to need a special meeting just for a workshop. I think a workshop could be incorporated into a regular meeting. The public hearing will be, I think that's where you need to have something, you know, separate. But yeah, I love this approach. I think it'll actually work. I really do.
I do too. The only thing I will say is there are some outstanding issues right now. I know that there's some issues that, in talking with Sissy, letters that need to be written that'll probably have to be assisted by Attorney Theriak. There are actual issues we're working on that I don't want to delay a month or 2 months or however long this is going to take. That we need to have some conversation with Attorney Theriak and or the Sheriff's Department.
Yeah.
And we need to get whatever we need to get to help Miss Sissy do what she's doing.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, that would be, those could be examples that we use along the way that, as they work through it, how we deal with those.
Yeah,
And
but I just want to make sure the board
Learning
knows that
lesson,
I'm
yes.
intended to have those
do
discussions.
both at the same time. Yes, sir?
What kind of timeline are we looking at, Michael? Do you know what kind of timeline?
No, I was thinking weeks maybe, not so much months, because I don't think it'll take that long. I mean, the campers may take a little bit longer, because we really need the Sheriff's Department involved in those discussions. So that may take a little bit longer, Commissioner, but I see the Commissioner sitting down with staff sooner rather than later, and I'm circulating whatever they come up with to you guys. We incorporate your changes and we discuss it, you know, at a meeting coming up.
On the RV ordinance, we've been dealing with that for many, many years.
Yeah.
And I know I've got several in the area over there east of Lanark that had came in there and they're living out of them. But then when they go to check it out, nobody's there. So, I mean, we need to, if we're gonna do the RV ordinance, just like the commissioners want to be done, we need to go ahead and do it.
And Mr. Chairman, obviously the Sheriff's Office needs to work with them, because the complaints they see, we obviously don't see, and Sissy may not even see.
Yes.
So I think you're right, it goes hand in hand, and I don't know if any of them want to come up to speak. They can do rock, paper, scissors, or whatever, but.
Kind of dropped the name already. He's sitting there.
Which one of y'all's coming
He's
up?
smiling, looking pretty, but he's not coming up.
Come on, James, come on
to the
down.
board.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chief just said go up, so. We met with Michael yesterday. Of course, you know, we get a lot of the complaints throughout the county. They're really not coming to the building department. They're not really coming to the commissioners. They are coming to the sheriff. They're coming to the sheriff's office. We hear it when we're in the streets. As we're patrolling, our guys are patrolling, we are seeing it. It's not just the RVs that we're having issues with. It's the sheds. I mean, we've got people living in sheds that, you know, don't have running water, don't have power, don't have sewer attached to these sheds. The campers don't have water, power, sewer, so they're just letting the fecal matter go on the ground. You know, they're running by candlelight, they're running by whatever means of light they have. They've got generators running, disturbing the neighborhoods. They're keeping the yards full of debris, trash, just whatever you can think they're pulling into the yards, they're pulling them in. And sometimes you may have one camper in the yard, or you may have four. Some of them may be decent campers, some are halfway falling apart, and they've got tarps over them with people still living in them. And drug use is a big issue with that, because they're taking campers from one property to the next. You know, we go in there and the owners finally kick them off this property, well, they take that camper, move it 4 blocks over, and they're living on another piece of property. And then we're doing the same thing we were doing there. They're moving all their junk down to the other property, they're selling drugs out of that house. They have people coming and going all hours of the night. I mean, that's the reports we're getting. I mean, we've got deputies working all these areas. I think I gave 7 properties to the building department yesterday, took photos, labeled everything, who was the property owner, what addresses, and took the visual time to like put it out to where it's showing what's wrong with the properties. I mean, they're a nuisance. They're a nuisance in our county, especially when you start getting the people in there selling drugs and all. I mean, I have no issue with somebody living in a camper that's what they can afford. You know, I mean, not everybody can go in and afford a $300,000, $400,000 home. You know, not everybody can go in and afford a mobile home. I mean, you could buy a mobile home at a decent price. Now, they're outrageous. You know, some people, that's what they can afford. And I'm fine with that. And I believe the sheriff would possibly be fine with that. But keep it nice. Keep it, you know, to where if we have children running in the neighborhood, they're not running through your property, possibly getting hurt, having refrigerators out in the yard with the doors on them, which is, you know, by law illegal. I mean, it becomes a nuisance in that aspect. But the RVs are a big issue. You know, you take an RV and you put it behind somebody's house, and then you got 4 families living in one RV. I mean, it is a big issue for our county. So, I mean, that's kind of really all I have off the spur of the moment.
No, that's good though. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I didn't think about shed, but he's right. I mean, I guess that makes,
Yeah.
and that's why we, you know, again, the communication, because
Yeah.
I didn't think people would live in
No,
sheds.
I mean, I actually sent Michael some yesterday of people living in sheds over here on 26th Street. We've got over on 25th Street, I actually spoke to Sissy this morning. She calls me quite a bit. She calls the sheriff's office if she needs assistance or a deputy to go out just to be, you know, kind of do a standby with her if she don't feel real comfortable going to that house. We do communicate with Sissy very well. If she has an issue, whatever, we're very respondent to her. And we appreciate that, you know, her trying to work however she can. But I mean, we have a lot of people that just have old abandoned cars in their yards. I'm sure if you've rode around, they're just sitting there. They're unlocked. I mean, if a child got into that car playing hide and go seek, somehow that car locked up and it gets hot during the summer, you know, that's not a good scenario. You know, but that's the biggest thing is they're using a lot of the RVs to bounce here to there, to here to there. But I mean, we went to a house the other day. There's a shed in the back. A lady's living in the back. There's no water, there's no power. We go in looking for a subject. There's meth pipes and every other thing you can think of sitting around in the shed. You know, we've had that issue down where Commissioner Amoson's. You know, there's actually an RV on Oyster Road that is encroaching on county right-of-way. And not by an inch or two, but by feet. You know, if you're not familiar with the county right-of-way, some of the right-of-ways are up to 100 feet in our county. You know, I think the smallest we have is probably 60 or maybe 50. You know, but that's one thing me and Colonel Coulter did several years ago. We got in there and we went to Mark Currington and we got the right-of-ways for our county. And, you know, and we were able to go in there and clear a lot of the right-of-ways, you know, go in there and say, hey, you got to clear the right-of-way, you're on county property, you know, or they got, you know, NTAs or went to jail for illegal dumping. You know, but that's one of the biggest issues right there. I mean, is the RVs, people living in the sheds, you know, the drug use that these people are doing because they don't, how can I rephrase this? They don't want to get out and get a regular job. They'd rather sell their drugs and live however they can. Continue not just selling their drugs, but using the drugs as for themselves. So that's kind of the issue we're having. So any assistance we can have, you know, be greatly appreciated. Anything we can do, you know, we're always here to help.
Mr. Chair, I got a question. Captain Ham, you mentioned 25th, 26th Avenue. Are y'all working with the City of Apalachicola Code Enforcement too?
I actually spoke to Sissy yesterday. Our thoughts, and I even ran it by Major Segree, our thought, and I'm sure your thought was probably the east side was always the city, the west side was always the county. We always figured that's kind of how it broke up. That's even how we take calls. We figured the county-city line was always dead middle in that road. I found out this morning that the city has actually, I guess, been working the west side of 25th. But some of the photos that I took and information that I sent was off 25th. So, I mean, I can run down the list right now of what all I sent.
Got you. Fortunate for me, you know, my district is in the City of Apalachicola, so I don't deal with a bunch of those complaints. However, I know it's a countywide issue as well, you know, so I'm very in support of fixing this code enforcement issue that we have. And if Commissioner Amerson wants to step up and take the lead in helping us, and I'm very in support of that. So
Chairman, I think the most heartbreaking case was when James said to me yesterday, there's I won't call any names, that there's a situation where they have the kids in the back in a shed, but they're selling drugs from the camper, the RV up front. I'm sorry.
What, do we need any action for this, Michael?
We do not. I just made to make sure there were no objections to, or any specific comments you wanted to direct to Commissioner.
I think we've had enough comments.
Yes, we have.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can we go ahead and take item 5 too, because Major Seeger is in
Yes.
here, and this is about the Barnacle agreement and stuff like
Thank y'all.
that.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
Can
Talk to
we
you
go
soon,
ahead and
sir.
do that?
Yes, we can.
And then that way, we're lucky to have that. And if, I know right here, we're asking for, go ahead.
So, item number 5, in similar fashion, no, this is one I told the commissioner for. Commissioner Emerson is willing to meet with Barnacle representatives to discuss a draft contract for your review, which after we meet and we hammer out, they sent something, I've received it from Brad. I'm going to forward it to the commissioner. We'll sit with them, schedule a meeting, and we'll have something afterwards, let the attorney look at it, and then from there, it'll be presented to the board for your review. Okay? Again, same way, same fashion, any comments about the Barnacle you would like Commissioner Emerson to?
Well, I think that they need to, if we're gonna have Barnacle, we're gonna have them. They need to get ready to put whatever they have on Alligator Point needs to come to St. George Island
Okay.
as well to help. Because I know last weekend, and it's not a blight on anybody, I was trying to help someone that was stranded in a vehicle that someone else had started helping, and I kind of helped finish the job, but it wound up having to get towed. We had to wait all day long for the tow truck because they were on the island towing. So we waited 8 o'clock for the tow truck to get to, so
Wow.
it was broke down. So, yeah.
Yeah, because one
So
of the things.
we need it on the island as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioners, one of the things that they said could be a negotiating point is a free, the depot to drop off
Yes.
on St. George Island as
Yes.
part of that, so Commissioner.
However that works is fine. That's-
Commissioner Amerson
yes.
could keep that as part of negotiations to get that done.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if we want to talk about this now or later, but I did do a ride-along on Alligator Point, so if y'all want me to discuss that real quick, or
Yeah,
y'all?
sure.
So Saturday, as promised, the Barnacle situation, I said I was going to be active and ride along with a deputy out there. I did Saturday. I rode around, it's from between 11 and 12, but there were some, as far as the Barnacle goes, the deputy explained everything to me, how it worked. The only issue that we found was, well, for one, we didn't have to deploy one, which is a good thing, you know. The issue that we found was when he showed me the box, there was something, one wasn't charging, but I think it wound up being maybe the plug, not the Barnacle device itself. But when we pulled it out of the box, it wouldn't go to, they have an app on the phone, it wasn't recognizing the device.
Communicating.
So he logged out and logged back in, and then it worked. So that was the only issue. And then I found out after the fact that once I got done with my ride-along, I guess he deployed one. So I'm like,
You didn't hang out long enough.
I didn't hang out long enough. So I guess the next time I go out, I'll have to go out a little later in the afternoon. But there were some things that the deputy expressed some, I won't say concerns, but just some issues that he thinks that we as a board might need to bring up and address. One was that, and I know we've discussed this before and refresh my memory, the county property that's there. I know we talked about in the past making that to a parking lot. Is that still something that we are looking at doing, or?
For Commissioner Sanders and I want to
Okay.
make sure
And then we don't have to answer it now. These are just things that.
I'll answer later, because I've got a letter to do with that parking area.
Okay.
So we'll answer it later on in the board meeting.
And then another one was, there is at the old, if you've ever been out there, their old firehouse, there is a stop bar. So when you approach the intersection, it's really not an intersection, there's a stop bar, like it has stop painted and a stop bar painted on the road, but there's no stop sign. So you've got people stopping, but there's no stop sign, which I don't see a need that there needs to be a stop there, because it's just a curve. It's right there by I think it was a stop when it was all one road before the storm took it out. But So I didn't know if maybe we needed to put a stop sign there, or if there needs to be a stop there. If not, we need to maybe get the road department to scrape up that, or pave over that stop bar. So that was another thing I was gonna bring up. And then, in that same general area, and it's on the in the county right-of-way, kind of off there's a sidewalk there, but people were parking along there. And the question was, can they get barnacled for parking there, but there are no parking signs? So if that's an area we are going to allow people to park, then we need to communicate that with the sheriff's office so they don't barnacle those vehicles. Otherwise, if we don't want people parking there, then we need to make sure there's no parking signs there, so there's no confusion. Does that make sense?
It does, but I thought we had designated parking areas at Alligator Point.
We do, but people were parking, and I got pictures, I should have sent them to you to share, but anyway, they were parking basically on the side and accessing the beach from the county property. And there's no parking signs. The first parking sign starts right when you turn on the Chip Morrison, down just far from the old firehouse.
Yeah, but if you're not careful, you're gonna wind up, so if you say you can't enforce parking because there's not a sign, I mean, I got 15 miles we need to put signs on. It's gonna look like coming on the Appalachian Bridge.
I just didn't know.
I mean, that don't make no sense
So
to me.
we do the opposite, say parking allowed in designated
Yeah,
areas only.
that's what I
Okay.
thought. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
Because if we start having to have a sign for everywhere they can't park, we're just gonna be behind a lot of signs is all we're gonna be doing.
Well, I didn't know in a court of law if they ever decided to, say, for example, a vehicle was barnacled, and they take it to court saying they barnacled my vehicle because I parked in this spot, but there are no parking signs telling me I can't park there. I didn't know if that was something that we needed to address.
Yeah, but the places we do have signs that say you can park here. Don't they? On the parking areas?
Yeah, oh, yeah, designated
Well, it said
parking.
designated
Yeah,
parking. You
right.
can park in designated
Right.
areas.
Well, one thing you got to remember too, there's not gonna be too many weeks from now that we're gonna be realigning all those roads down there. And so all that's not even gonna be like it is now. So, I mean, as soon as we get the permits from DEP.
Yeah. I can
take the firehouse down and realign that road, there's gonna be another traffic pattern there. So,
Well, I'll send Michael some pictures too, so that he could look at it and see maybe what next step we need to take. And then I think that there was another, nope, I think that's it. So,
Mr. Chair, I have a question since we have Mr. Seeger and this board together. I had a constituent approach me a couple weeks ago in a hardware store. This was in concern with St. George Island about parking, which would go hand in hand with what we're discussing with Alligator Point. But if it's a county right-of-way, is it legal to park on the county right-of-way?
technically it's not, no.
I mean, is there any law against it?
Is that not something wrote into one of our county ordinances that prohibits parking on those right-of-ways, on Alligator Point specifically, I believe? I don't know if it addresses that currently for St. George Island, but I do believe it prohibits that on Alligator Point itself.
Because, I mean, having this discussion, if there's not anything in writing, I mean, realistically, we can't run and scatter. Well, I mean, Florida DOT did it, but I don't know if we can afford that many signs to properly post all county right-of-way that there's no parking. So it may be something, if this, you know, if it continues to be an issue, we may have to look into that. Now, you know, I don't know how we would handle that, but and like I said, that's why I'm asking you, since you were law enforcement, you may have known if we have something in place, but we will research and look at it.
Absolutely. And just real quick to speak to the barnacle, since we've started using it again this year throughout the month of March, you've seen the report I've sent to each one of you guys, I'm sure. It literally has worked flawlessly. I know that there was a brief incident over the weekend where it may have took a minute or two for it to do its thing, but I've deployed it multiple times since our last conversation, and it has worked again as designed, flawlessly. Attached to the vehicle, the individuals, the owners or drivers, whichever you want to call it, they have removed the barnacle without issue, without problems. and deposited the device back into the drop box. We've not had really any issues at this point, and I think moving forward, as we've talked several times, for St. George Island, we're going to experience a lot of problems over there, and if it's something, of course, that the board wishes to move forward with, I think it's going to be, again, our best deterrent, our best way to battle the parking problems. It's already proven itself, I feel like, just on Alligator Point. We went from one weekend, I deployed roughly 6 barnacles or 7, to just this past weekend, there were only 2 deployed. So I believe that the people are seeing it. They know that they're going to get barnacled, and of course they're hoping to avoid that, which is, again, at the end of the day, I think that the best result is that we have 0 parking problems. And so the device is working. It's working great.
That's why I wanted Major Seeger up here to just see what his opinion of the barnacle was. So going forward, having to do the contract with Barnacle, then we're aware of all the circumstances. But I know in the past, I got multiple complaints every week about the problem. I think doing the rocks on Chip Morrison there at that parking spot there, that did excellent, and I thank APTA for bringing that to our attention. Right. And down there, and the folks down there, but you know, anything we can do on that parking issue, whether it be Alligator Point or the island, because we do, I mean, you look at your numbers that you sent in back in March in that 2-day speed study that you did, over 4,400 people in 2 days went to Alligator Point. That's a lot of people going just to Alligator Point.
Although we've got spring break right now, we're still not in the busy season.
I know.
So
That's next week.
And then you've got Alligator Point, I mean, you got St. George Island on top of Alligator Point. And you can imagine, because the roads are good over on on St. George Island, you know, the roads are good on Alligator Point now. I can remember a time when it wasn't. So, but anyway, I like seeing those numbers where we know how many people we are accommodating down here in this county. And the services that they require to have.
Do we need any action on this, Mr. Rowe?
No, sir, just
Okay.
same difference.
Okay.
So,
Everybody good with Commissioner?
Yeah, and did Commissioner Amison, if you don't mind, just kind of keep Brad in that loop on the contract, and if he needs anything or anything as far as Barnacle goes, and help out.
And Mr. Chairman, I will say that I do feel like the barnacles would benefit St. George Island as well. And talking to the deputy I rode around with, he seemed to think the same thing, so. Just a matter of that negotiation, getting us a box with free 6 barnacles, free.
Don't worry. I mean, that's music to my ears. I'm glad it's working. I'm glad we got a need for it. But we still got to have a discussion on a year of, no, sir, which is fine. I mean, we can get past that. We just got to find a good common ground with. And just on a personal note, my little niece came into town last night after she drove around the whole nation to get to Florida. She's a young driver. Her and her little friend come down for a couple of days because of spring break and everything. And I told her when I was reading this, I said, do not go to that island and park anywhere. I said, that last thing I want to see is the commissioner's niece getting towed over there, because I know this is our discussion. But, and get ready, because Atlanta is coming.
Yeah.
They'll be here Friday through next weekend,
I thought
so.
Atlanta was already here, but.
I know there's some island residents out there that's probably got a tear in their eye right now, but some of us business people were smiling ear to ear, so. But anyway, appreciate the sheriff's department, and I'll be in touch with Mr. Seeger in the future here, me and Mike, I assume. And one other note, Commissioner Amison wants to know when he's gonna get a raise since I'm doing all this, no.
We'll start bringing some more free candy like this
Just
right
bring,
here.
yeah, just bring candy.
We'll bring some more candy.
Get that sugar-free stuff. I am trying to make some changes. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the confidence y'all got in me. I think I can work with staff on all this stuff, work with the other sheriff's department, Michael, and I think we can find something that we can all agree on, and it'll be a quicker path to getting
Good.
something done. And to answer your question, Commissioner Sanders, about a time frame on this, I didn't catch that in time earlier, but I've already texted a few of the staff saying, get ready, because we're fixing to go ahead and start getting into this.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson.
I appreciate y'all.
If that's it on that discussion, let's take a 5-minute recess, and we'll come back to the director report. Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. We're moving to our department directors' reports. Commissioners, as you can tell, Mr. Neighbors and Mr. Davis don't have any action items on their reports, so if you have anything you would like to discuss with them, they did have some informational items included, but you can reach out to them individually. Ms. Daniels doesn't have an information item, but we do want to have a discussion about burn ban, correct, Ms. Daniels?
Yes, sir, Commissioner.
All right, good morning, go ahead.
Good morning. How are y'all doing? I reached out. I've had a few people call here asking about a burn ban. And so I reached out to our fire departments and to Division of Forestry. As of right now, Division of Forestry, they are still issuing some burn permits, and those are for certified piles and certified FAS on acreage with approval. I've been talking to, or I've spoke to several of the fire departments. I have not been able to speak to all of them yet. At this time, the three that have responded, which was Lanark, SGI, and Carabel, are all three saying that they don't really see the need for a burn ban at this time. However, Carabel just said let them know what they will go with, whatever the rest of the fire departments would like to do. I pulled up the drought index, and as of this morning, we are at 377, and the minimum is 253, and the maximum is 488, so we're kind of right in the middle there. I don't want to make any recommendations at this time until I've spoken to all the fire departments, I would say, but I just wanted to make sure and give you all the information I have.
Okay.
Because I know some of you have reached out also, and that you have been getting calls and questions also.
Yes, yes, ma'am, and that's a good thing. It's really, Jen, it's really difficult to do, I mean, it's not saying we can't, but it's difficult to do a burn ban if the state forestry isn't doing one.
Yes.
I mean, they own 90% of our county.
Yes.
So it's kind of, you know what I mean, it's kind of difficult. Admittedly, they don't have as many people living in their part of it, but still. But no, that is something we need to continue to monitor. So thank you for the update and report. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Daniels?
Mr. Chair, I have one
Yes.
thing. Jenny and I spoke of this yesterday because I wanted information of how, how a burn ban is implemented, and she gave me the whole process. I got a call from a fellow commissioner over in Gulf asking me, were we under a burn ban? And I told him no, and I think they are going under one. And as Jenny explained to me, they're right at the line, or we were right at the line, so the drought line. So.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I actually was I'm going to EOC today to get my badge for, and I was gonna ask about it, because I've also been getting messages and phone calls, but I do know, because Jen and I have discussed about it before, what the process is in terms of the Department of Forestry. So that was my response to the individuals I got info from, but I was gonna ask her about it again, since I did see Gulf County did go under one. But anyway, I entrust that obviously we're gonna do what we need to do, and Jen, if something comes up in an emergent manner and you need to do one, we could always hold a special meeting if we have to.
Chairman, if I may. Hey, Jen, will you take this opportunity to inform the board and the public about the badges? Because that's actually an information item on my report too, to encourage, staff and staff and any other county official that they need to get those badges as soon as possible.
Yes, sir. We have updated one of our software programs this past year. It's called Salamander, and what it allows us to do is how normally when you come to the EOC during an activation, you have to do a sign-in sheet every day, and you have to, fill out all of your information every time you come in and out of the building. So the software Salamander actually will track the time that you're here for us for FEMA reimbursement process. And so we are creating IDs for everyone who is active here at the EOC, which would definitely be all of you with the commission. And what you'll do is you'll get your ID. I just need a quick headshot picture of you, and my girls will fix your ID. And it'll have a barcode on it. So when you come to the front door, there is a scanner at the front door. You will just scan your barcode. It logs you in. No more sign-in sheets, no more sign-out sheets. You're not having to fill out all that extra paperwork. We're just trying to streamline it a bit. And so anyone who is active here at the EOC during an activation, we're trying to get those IDs made up in advance. That way, when you come to the door, if you don't have an ID, we do have the ability to do a quick ID, but we would really like to, again, streamline so that we're not holding you up to get into the EOC, to get into the meeting or where you need to make decisions right then at that time.
Good. That's a good thing. It'll probably help too, a little bit less paperwork.
Yes, that's going to make life a lot better for us.
And, Mr. Chairman, just so Jennifer's aware, I did speak to Jessica yesterday, so I'll be coming today after the meeting to get mine. But I do want to say, I will forward you any email I get, because apparently there's people get confused between Jessica Gay, myself, and Jessica Lockhart at EOC. And I get her emails, so I'm like, I said, we're going to start charging people $1 for every time they confuse me. I'm up to about $50 now, as of the rest of the girls. But anyway, anything I get, I will forward to you guys, because I know I've already gotten some that I guess they just reply to me, or they could, anyway, I will forward you whatever I get if anybody responds to that email.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Any more questions for Ms. Daniels or concerns?
Commissioner, Chairman, I pulled up this morning the current county enacted burn bans that's listed on the Florida Forest Service website.
Yep.
Gulf has not went under theirs yet, or at least it's not been reported to the Forest Service. They have Calhoun, Liberty, and Leon have burn bans enacted. Wakulla, Franklin, and Gulf, and even Bay are still showing no burn bans enacted for our surrounding counties. So just an update for as of this morning.
Okay, good. All right, well, thank you.
I'm glad that, Mr. Chairman, I'm glad that we had an update from Jim, because, as you all know, Calhoun County suffered bad wildfires and destroyed so many homes and stuff. And it looks like the rainfall is not coming anytime soon. As we all know, living in Florida like we do, probably going to start the rainfall about the end of May, first part of June. Then it's going to rain.
We'll get more than we need.
We're going to have more than what we need, yeah.
It's called feast or famine.
Yeah.
Yeah, feast or famine. But thank you, Jim, for doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Director Daniels. We appreciate you. And what
My
y'all do
pleasure.
for the county.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, Commissioners, Mr. Polis for mosquito control had no action items. Michael, I don't see anybody else attending. Ms. Whitney Roundtree from the library also had no action items.
Correct.
And there were no action items for the airport. They are all reports. They're all informational items, but you can contact those individuals directly. What about Miss Erin Griffin? Is she on the line?
I hope so. Yes, she
Because
is.
we're up to her.
Let's see if she's paying attention. There she is.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I actually only have 2 action items for you all today, but quite a few project updates, so that is entirely up to the board on how you would like to proceed.
Do you want to do both of these together, Commissioners, on consent, or what do you want to do?
I'm okay with doing 2 consent, and I really just have a question on one.
Okay, what's your question?
Aaron, go ahead and read it, I guess, so the public is aware of what I'm going to ask, if you don't mind.
Okay.
If that's okay with you, Chairman.
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, which action item was
The
that? First?
number one, the armory.
Okay, all right, gotcha. The Armory project is nearing completion. The contractors are finishing up the last of their work and awaiting the final touches after the foundation repairs are complete. The attached $30,438.42 change order will cover the additional stabilization work to be completed by subcontractor Alpha Foundations. and those repairs were needed in the vault area. So once Alpha completes their work, then F&F Construction can actually go in there and put the last finishing touches on the Armory project. And right now, they feel that there will be substantial completion by April 29th. So hopefully sometime in May, we can have a ribbon cutting for that project. So board action to approve and authorize the chairman to sign change order number 5 for the Fort Coombs Armory Convention Center project.
What's your question?
Mr. Chairman, that, you answered one of my questions, which will be hopefully ready by April 29th. I think that's probably happening before then, though, won't it?
Yes, it will.
The other question is the money for the change order, that's covered in the grant that we currently have with it, right?
That's actually covered by TDC.
TDC, okay.
Yep, this is a TDC-funded project.
Gotcha. That's all I wanted to know. Thanks, Chairman. I'll make a motion to approve 1 and 2.
All right, so we have a motion to approve both items by Commissioner Ward.
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, Ms. Aaron, let's have some updates.
Okay. The D.W. Wilson Sports Arena Pickleball Courts project is currently out to bid. There's a mandatory pre-bid meeting scheduled for Thursday, April 16th on site at 10 a.m. We also had the East Point Nature Center project's mandatory pre-bid meeting on Wednesday, March 25th, and there were approximately 11 contractors in attendance. Bids for that project will be opened at the April 15th meeting. The Restore Countywide Dune construction project elements will begin within 1 to 2 weeks. There is an interesting development with that project. When the pre-construction survey was completed at the SGI's Lighthouse Park location, the dunes had already naturally grown in volume by more than what was stipulated in the original FDEP permit. Carabel Beach had not done the same and was still deficient in sand, so the original permitted sand for St. George Island will now be added to the Carabel Beach Park project location. SGI's Lighthouse Park project includes the post and rope barricade, coastal hammock planting efforts, and access improvements as originally planned, just no placement of additional sand on the beach. We also completed a site visit of the new Highway 65 communication tower location, which will be on the south side of the 55-acre parcel north of the school board acreage, with communications consultant Dave Snow and assistance provided by the Franklin County Sheriff's Department. The Franklin County Road Department to bush hog a 60-foot by 60-foot pad for the surveyors to get good soil samples for the tower site. The North 65 tower site appraisal for the Armstead parcel should be available by the end of the month, and interim county attorney David Theriak has been in contact with Duke Energy regarding the land swap for the Apalachicola tower site location on the Kevin Road parcel. The RFP for the ambulance billing company will be advertised this week, and EMS Director Christian Graham will be at your next meeting to make introductions and to provide an EMS update along with EMS consultant Richard Lewis. The Apalachicola Library paving project bid specifications and advertisements will be available this week. And the EOC building project, we held a project update meeting on Friday, March 27th. The plan set is being finalized, permits are in hand. Bid specifications are being developed for review and approval by FDEM. Once approval is granted, the county could go out for construction bids as early as June. I also have a call out to Dan Duarte with the Gulf Consortium regarding obtaining access to the funds that were set aside in the SEP plan for the construction of the EOC. And also has full financial reports for the auditors on Monday, and the 24-25 grant files and programs are being reviewed by the county auditors this month. And the supporting documentation has been provided to the actuary for the annual update of the county's OPEB liability.
Hey, Aaron, can we ask Attorney Theriak? I thought he told me that yesterday that actually the Duke land swap, they're ready to sign. We're good to go. Is that, did I hear you correctly, sir?
Yes, that's correct. Earlier this week, the attorneys for Duke Energy informed me that they are good to go. Duke Energy has agreed to do the letter of no objection for the road under the transmission line, and I think the next step is Aaron was contacting somebody to serve as a closing agent so that we can proceed to closing.
So,
yes.
Got it.
Deal.
Finally got it.
Deal.
Good to go. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Chairman, real quick, Aaron, I got a question on the 65 stuff. So there's 2 towers, if I'm reading that right? Because I know, Lord knows I've been pushing for towers on 65.
Yes. Yep. So So this tower on the south side of Highway 65, or the south end of Highway 65, is actually going to be replacing the tower that's currently located at the Sheriff's Department. And we have also requested a quote to actually dismantle the existing tower because it's in poor condition. It really needs to come down as soon as possible. And with this latest patch that we did with Williams Communications, once everything is up and going without issue, we would be cleared to be able to actually remove that tower. So this one will actually take the place of the tower that sits at FCSO, and then the other tower is actually located on the north end of County Highway 65.
And that's one we've been working on for a while, but I know there was some issues, but now it looks like we're going to be able to use it and put a tower there.
Well, right now we are, that one we are trying to work through property acquisition, with Mr. Armstead. So the first step was to actually have an appraisal done on the parcel location. So we will have to see how that works out. And then if that tower does not materialize, we do have some other options as far as other parcels that we can go to next. So we'll just have to see on that one.
Yeah. Well, let me know if you would keep me posted. I've got a contact from that gentleman. It might have been Mr. Snow, but anyway, I'll definitely give him a call back because, again, I'd love to get towers up there, and some's better than none. So even if we get the one at the north, that would be great and increase service up that way. So thank you.
Definitely needed. Thanks.
Ms. Aaron, we were having a staff level discussion about some county property on the west side of Franklin County. Did we ever come up with a parcel or an area?
Actually, we did not. When I started looking for any right-of-way sections, I was hoping that the county perhaps had some, little short segments of roadways that perhaps, went straight to the bay, kind of like unused right-of-way road endings, those type of locations, and I was not able to locate any county-owned parcels that direction. Right. Now, the one thing that we do have is C30 to the west of Apalachicola is a really large roadway right-of-way. So we are talking with one property owner, and they were going to get back with me sometime this week to see if they would be interested in just selling the county a very small, probably 60 by 60 foot pad on one side of their property, and then the county could actually fill in with some of the large roadway segment. But that would actually have to be something that we would have to discuss to allow for intrusion into the roadway area or right-of-way area. Sorry.
Right. Would it be in an area that would facilitate what we're trying to do with the system?
It would be, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're good. I hadn't talked to you about it in a couple of days, and I thought about it while we were talking about these other towers.
Yes, yeah. We actually located a parcel that was actually closer to the county line on that side. So we've located one privately owned parcel that we'll see if the owner is willing to talk to us.
Sounds good. And I had to step out for a minute, and you might have already talked about it. But I see that we're finally going to be maybe going out for bids as early as June on the EOC.
Correct. Yes. Very excited. Yep.
Finally, glad to see that.
Well, go ahead and tell Howard to fire up them land clears and get that thing going. Knock down some trees.
Get us some shovels. Get us some shovels ready.
Well, thank you, Ms. Aaron. Any other questions for Ms. Aaron?
Mr. Chairman, I do. Aaron, I know last meeting I spoke of the batting cage light switch at Vrooman Park.
Oh, yes.
I did speak to Fonda this morning. I went out there with a baseball parent that told me about it, and the GFCI outlets are working fine.
Okay.
There was discussion of maybe the pitching machine, when it's being plugged in, might be throwing a breaker. But the switch is broken. It's a timer switch. So I asked Fonda if there was a way, and they suggested if we could just do like a regular light switch, and then further up in the conduit, if we could actually put like a timer up top, where nobody could mess with the timer, but set the timer for like between, say, 5 and 10 or 11, and they can still switch it off if they leave, but it will be on at that time, and nobody, because I think what happened is they turned it and turned it and turned it, and it's probably because it was broken, because we turned it, and the lights were on for like 5 seconds, and they went off, and we turned it on again, and the lights wouldn't come on. So I could see where someone was trying to figure it out and just maybe it wasn't working.
They have a short in it.
No, I don't think so, because when we turned it back on, they would come on and go off. I think what the internals tweaked, like it's not a short, it's broken. Something's broken on the switch itself, I think, on the inside.
Get that fixed.
So I did tell Fonda that he's going to work on that. I just wanted to let you
Okay.
know and the public know, because that was a conversation Fonda and I had off the record.
Okay,
But I just
great.
wanted you to know too that he's going to work on it.
Okay, gotcha. We'll get something figured out with Kate's.
Thanks.
Yeah, we might need to have them weigh in too, Miss Aaron, about when they're using the pitching machine, that it's flipping a breaker or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any truth to that. We didn't plug it
Okay.
in
Yeah,
yesterday,
might just need a bigger breaker.
Okay.
and that's definitely something they could look into.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you know, Aaron will be back for the 11 o'clock public
Yes.
hearing that we have.
Yes.
Okay? Just want to let you guys know.
Yeah. All right, so is Ms. Bree on the line? Are we good to proceed with
Mr. Chair, I got one thing for Aaron.
All right, go ahead.
I did see, because I had it as a question, but it's in your report, that the EMS director did accept the position we offered. My question is, our current EMS positions, like for the medics and EMTs, is that application closed or open?
That application period is going to remain open until filled. So
Okay.
we will make that change. And by having the new EMS director on board, then we now have a staff person that can actually conduct all of the interviews and such. So it'll be happening in the next, likely in the next 2 months for sure.
Okay, is it going to be on our website? Because I was advised it was, I was advised that it was closed. I guess because they maybe haven't seen it or something, I don't know.
Okay, we will make the correction on the county website
Okay.
and say open until filled.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do, Mr. Chair. Aaron, I know that me, you, and Mr. Davis had went out to Donnie Wilson Sports Arena and looked at that sidewalk. We'd had some discussion on the monument and making some changes. When I was out there the other day, I noticed that when they were erecting the poles for the Musco lights, some of that equipment got on that older sidewalk and it's collapsed in a lot of places. So
Okay.
I was just giving you a heads up that we may have to address that sooner rather than later.
Okay.
And while we're doing that, we need to get together and put in a paid handicap access right now.
Okay.
Because we don't have any stable handicap access to the park.
And actually, Commissioner, that would probably be a good time for us to actually do that, is we can look at those items when we're having the mandatory pre-bid meeting out there. Because likely any contractor that's doing the pickleball courts, that should be right up their alley as far as being able to do ADA parking pad and also the concrete repairs.
That's why I brought it up to you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Ms. Aaron, I'll also have a discussion with you later about, so since we're doing everything else we're doing on the stormwater and the paving from Third to Third on SGI,
Yeah.
I need to talk to you, and we can discuss it offline, about the possibility of doing a change order, because I forgot about a very important area. We probably need to try to repave while we have them there, the parking area by Lighthouse Park, and restripe that area as well.
Oh, okay.
If that's something we can do, but we can
Okay,
discuss that later.
gotcha. Okay.
All right. Anyone else? I think we gave you enough tasks for today. Thank
right.
you, Ms. Aaron.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Bill Williams? EDC Coordinator?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Madam Clerk. Michael, I appreciate the opportunity to come in. We're doing some great work under the leadership of Chairman Jones and our 12 newly appointed members that you all see. We have went back and forth a little bit on the structure when I first came to you regarding putting this potentially under Team Franklin, which is a Florida Statute 163 intergovernmental group. But because of the cumbersomeness of the board and how that would work, we really needed to have a separate board with a separate mission, separate bylaws, separate everything. So we're coming back to formalize that agreement. Christy Banks is the attorney now for She's doing it pro bono, so we're very appreciative of that, to get us started and get rolling through. Our articles of incorporation, our bylaws, our members, et cetera. I've listed the members for you. So the action item was to answer any question you have, and then to formalize that agreement with, obviously legal review. But this document was brought to you before. We just changed, the only thing that we changed was it's a not-for-profit organization versus the Team Franklin organization, would be the company or the organization that you would designate, and we have to compile and file reports with the state and those type things. The second, I'll stop there, Mr. Chairman, because there's one other element to it.
Okay.
But to see if you would carry the motion as an action item to approve that so that we could have a formal designation by the BOCC.
Okay. All right, do you need both of those to be done separately, is what you're asking?
You can do them together. I just didn't know if you wanted me to pause. The second item is basically, I need to notify the state, both the Department of Commerce, Florida's Great Northwest, and Opportunity Florida, of this agreement. I need to send them agreement, and then have myself designated for communication for any business leads and different things that come from those organizations as we get up in front. So it's to recognize the agreement. Sorry, I got a mint in my mouth. I didn't realize I was up so quick. But the scenario to get the board to approve those two items.
Okay. Any questions, or what's the pleasure of the board?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I spoke with Bill the other day. Mr. Williams, would you please, just so as the public knowledge, explain the difference between the EDC and Team Franklin roles?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, and that's a great point of reference. When we first came to the board, and we've been working on a little bit over probably a year now, year and a half, on our housing initiative, which was that Chapter 163 formation of the 6 governmental entities. So we have the sheriff's office, the school board, the municipalities, et cetera, and the major folk, which Commissioner Ward represents as your representative. That initiative is solely based in housing and housing initiatives for critical personnel, economic personnel, and then for our general population. This is a component of specific economic development. This will be attracting new business to Franklin County. It will be working with our current businesses. As you can see, Roger Mathis, for example, is our representative of Blue Water Industry. We want to make sure that we represent yesterday and tomorrow with keeping your heritage and your culture and that working waterfront scenario, as well as looking at different areas. But the main focal point, Commissioner, is one is looking at housing, and it's a separate body, and one is looking at economic development. Now, they do overlap with each other, but we want to be able, I'll come to this board in the future and say, this is our recommendation for targeted industries, for example. You guys will tell us what you want for target industries and what we're after, but we need to be able to tell those folks we've got the land, we've got the infrastructure, and we've got housing to be able to afford. That's why these two are running kind of parallel with each other. But that's a great question. Okay. And if there's any constituents that you all have that want to sit down with us, and we're notifying, and Michael's been wonderful to publicly notice all these things. Both of these boards will fall under sunshine because we're making recommendations to you for final approval and for recommendations.
All right.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you sure can.
Bill, as the coordinator for the Economic Development Council, who's paying you? Are you working up underneath the sheriff's office,
well,
or what?
That's
I'm going to
ask. No, and it's a great point, because the sheriff has put me somewhat out on loan, but he made a comment, and I notified some of you over the past bit that this really is a county perspective. At this point, the sheriff has paid me both under the Team Franklin side and on the coordinating of the EDC side. He does want the county to step up to the plate and say, okay, this is a county responsibility. But at this point, I'm not being paid for either one. But it is coming through the sheriff's budget, and actually, we need to justify, because as you all are aware, my salary is paid through Northwest Florida Health Network and does not come out of the county budget. And we need to make sure that I'm justifying that grant in my duty. So we will come back to you once we get a little bit stable and ask for the county to assist us, because there's going to be some operational costs. The Economic Development Council I'll give you an example in Wakulla County. Wakulla County runs about 60-40. About 60% of their funding comes from the private enterprise, and about 40% of their budget comes through county support. But we would go to the, because this is a county-wide deal, we would reach out, we'll look for businesses to be partners with us, we'll look for the municipalities to be partners with us. There's a lot of things we can do with the Regional Planning Council, but I appreciate you bringing that up because I don't want the sheriff mad at me.
Well, you know me, as long as you've known me, you know that's the question I'm going to ask you.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
you come into Franklin County and you want me to do something, I want to know how much are we going to have to pay you
Absolutely.
to get you to do this.
At this point, we'll come back and I'll go through the Economic Development Council and through the chairman, and then we'll come back with some recommendations as a budget. But right now, we're just getting structured.
Okay, I just wanted to know and get that out there before.
I'm glad you did, because the sheriff, he has a tendency, if he wants to yak me back, he'll yak me back.
And tell the sheriff, and he'll be seeing this meeting, I imagine, that we appreciate him loaning you out.
I appreciate that as well. And I do, and I say this very sincerely, and you and I talked a little bit about it in the beginning, even though, and I say this with all due respect to Gulf County, but the scenario, I am from Gulf County, but this has been a pleasure and an honor to be doing what I'm doing over here. From the folks that I help in the jail, from the people that we work with in the community, this is a great community, and I will probably come to you not only to get paid, but to be adopted at some point, because it is a great community, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, since Commissioner Sanders brought that up, and we have Bill here, Bill, and over at, is it John McKnight, Mr. McKnight over in Gulf County, he is their Economic Development Director.
Yes, sir.
What's the title?
Economic Development Council Director.
You know, that may
Executive
be
Director.
something this board may want to consider in the future. And maybe it could be, we can probably gradually move that in with what we're discussing here, if it comes to us having to fund, help the sheriff on the funding as far as justifying your means, so to speak. But that may be something we might want to entertain here in the near future.
Yeah, well, they don't have thank you for that. They don't have actual council in Gulf County, right?
They do. They actually have a board.
Okay.
I actually met with Mr. McKnight. He's coming. We have a meeting, and obviously we'll advertise and y'all can come, but our next meeting is scheduled for the 16th. Chairman Jones obviously will chair that meeting as well. We have from Career Source Kim Bodine coming, and Mr. McKnight coming from Gulf County to talk about how they started, what they did, because it's a very similar situation. They weren't big enough at that time to have a bunch of staff to be able to do things, and how they set up a contract. And he's going to talk about how you engage, how you don't engage. But it's really critical, and Commissioner, I appreciate you bringing it up. With, right now, House Bill 4105 is enrolled. It's waiting for the governor's signature to be engrossed there. With the four-county movement, with the port operation expansion in Gulf County, and what you're trying to do here with the airport and with Liberty and Gadsden, it will be pivotal that we are recognized, designated, and at the table in these negotiations so that we can advance the economics. So with your permission, Mr. Chair, I'll work with the sheriff. We'll come up with some kind of funding, and we'll come back where he's comfortable and you are comfortable.
That's fine. And we're a little bit ahead of the governor and the state. We've already got somebody from Gulf County on our airport board.
That's awesome.
We didn't have to wait to be told.
That's awesome. And I'm telling you, that is a sleeping giant there, and I know that they're moving. I've mentioned opportunity zones to you before, and the opportunity to readdress some of your designations. There's some really good things that are happening. I just want your businesses that have been here to truly understand that they're not being forgotten in this process. They are going to be integrated into this business. You have you can see the members. You have 12 board members right now that represent a cross-section from banking to, the Blue Waters to finance to construction. We'll have subcommittees that are coming up, and obviously we're at your bequest because you are the one that has the authority to for the statute. So this board will be able to work with our board to say this is where we need you to go. So it's an exciting time. I hope it leads to a lot of leadership, a lot of CEOs coming in here and saying, I want to build in Franklin County.
We've been trying to get economic development in Franklin County for a long time. And that's why we did when we first heard about Enterprise Florida and all that way back, Bill. way back with, you'll remember. That's the reason why the board at that time designated East Point as the economic hub of Franklin County, because it's the only part that could have been there, because it was the most centrally located and had the assets that needed to be able to be designated the hub of economic. But we like to see the jobs coming in here and stuff. So
That's
you know,
awesome.
we can't do it just any way, because we've got the bay out there we've got to think about. But your housing, all that is economic too. So.
Well, it's going to be exciting, and I've made the comment to several of your constituents that with the vision that this board is implementing and putting these people on the board, we'll be able to create an economic blueprint by design versus default. You will have literally a controlled pattern and a strategic plan. Our first objective with our members is to create a strategic plan so we can come to you, get it approved to where we want to go. So over the next 30, 60 days, we'll be sitting down with each of you and say, where do you want to take this as we go? And then we'll meet with other municipal leaders, et cetera. But we'll step in link with you, and you approve each step that we make.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I like the fact that it's proactive. So in the 9 years of being on this board, any and everything that somebody's wanting to do or thinks to do or has plans to do, just kind of comes at us straight on. No forethought, no other than, and that's fine. People have rights for the property. But with this process, as we get further into it, I think it's going to set the county up to be more, not in control, but involved in the process.
Agreed.
I think that's a good thing.
And Mr. Chairman, data that, was it Retail Strategies that came to a meeting a couple meetings back? You know, their data is going to be important with this EDC board as well, because that's going to determine, you know, where things are needed and where things may not be needed and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you're aware of that, but if
We do have the metric data that collaborative partners like Opportunity Florida, Commerce, et cetera, have. There's an amazing amount of data that's out there that can be incorporated from not just your pot, because if someone came in and they were looking at total rooftops where you have a little over 12,000, you wouldn't have, you know, a large corporation coming in. Amazon would not come and park at the airport. But if you had niche markets that could come in, let's say, for example, you looked at a pharmaceutical operation that had short shelf life that needed to move product out of the airport where you could combine that becomes a target with you. And you got to be able to show the metric data that you have a workforce that can be trained and available, and where would they be housed, et cetera. Because when you got site selectors that are looking all over the nation to put their businesses in, they're very sophisticated. It's like trying to deal with an insurance company. They know the formularies, they know the actuaries. We have to present our package and tell Franklin County's story. So your data point is absolutely critical. Without that data, nothing moves.
Mr. Chairman, with I guess this agreement, I'm sure since it's been brought back to the board, has the attorney been able to review it? Okay.
Well, we can do a contingent upon it.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve this contingent on attorney approval.
Second.
All right. So we do have a motion by Commissioner Ward. It's been seconded by Commissioner Croom. Commissioner Ward, you do, in your motion, it is about both subject matters that Mr. Williams brought up, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just want to make sure, and with attorney review. All right. All right, any other discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you,
Don't
Kip.
leave.
Hey,
I knew you
Commissioners.
was gonna leave because I know you get going.
I do have ADHD, so bear with me.
No, it ain't ADHD, you just move quick. Bill, I want to formally say thank you. I do believe it's going to help and benefit us in ways that we can't even imagine by your things that you have done in your lifetime, being a commissioner, being in places you've been in. You kind of get both sides of what's going on, and our residents are going to be the beneficiaries of that.
Well, I'm humbled to hear that, and I appreciate that
And
very
I want
much.
to thank you for, I can tell you, and I'll tell the rest of the board, there have been several times already, Bill will come and say, hey, I need to make sure you're going to be good. We got to talk about this. And he'll say something, and I say, no, Bill, that's not a problem. Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure. But again, he's sitting in this seat. So it's not about, trying to please everybody. It's about making sure that you're moving things along smoothly and everybody's involved, everybody's engaged. And I want to thank you for
I
that.
appreciate those words. I will tell you this is like a Little League, building a Little League field. I use that example all the time. If we get our community, and particularly a bunch of mamas behind this project, that Little League field will get built. The scenario here is if our community sees what it means to their job opportunities for their children, their grandchildren, the educational components to stay in it, it will be transformational, and it's exciting to be a part of, and I appreciate your words. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I will say this, I don't care if you're from Timbuktu. You have been a major asset to this community, so.
Well, I
we
thank you, sir.
appreciate it. Thank you.
I thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I concur. He's still trying to get away.
Yep.
But
He's
anyway,
like that.
I concur. I concur. You can go now.
Well,
Was anything-
it really is an honor, and I see, and I'm not trying to say this because you're commissioners, it is exciting to be a part, when you've got a political body that's moving with you and has the heart and the leadership skills that you all, I see Mr. Kroom, I see you, and Cheryl and I served 100 years ago in the leadership of FACT, where we see where moving that needle takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of effort, and if y'all weren't doing it and loving your community, so with passion, man, you can do a lot of things. You mentioned a servant heart and to go through. This board's got it. It's, again, I love serving with you. I love serving with the sheriff. It's been an honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I know we have 4 minutes before we get to the public hearing. Could I put her on the spot? I got an email from Destiny yesterday that they're ready to move forward the next phase of the Franklin 98 Living Shoreline Project. Can I ask her just to step up quickly in case you guys have any questions?
Yes.
Destiny, I'm sorry. But yeah, then by the time that's over, we could go straight to the public hearing.
Good morning.
So what's the second phase look like?
So the second phase is just an extension of phase one. We'll
Right.
start, I believe, at the school site and move east.
Right.
And yeah, we're starting Monday.
Okay, is there any, I think there was a discussion, is there some area in front of the county property that's going to be done in this?
I don't believe so. I think,
From the TDC building?
The TDC building, Destiny, like, it looks like an old highway patrol.
Yes,
Because that's what it
that's what
was.
it is.
Yeah, going,
Well, she's gonna start at school and going east, they're already past us, right?
I believe the visitor center county property is in phase two, which should
Okay.
be late-ish summer.
Okay,
Can I ask a question?
yes.
I'm real concerned with the Yent Bow area. Y'all are not gonna do anything with those rocks that's gonna stop up that flow
No.
in the creek and out of the creek? Because we have a lot of people that mullet fish around that area.
No, they're very low profile. They only go up to the mean high water line where the oysters like to grow to. So it shouldn't affect any flow
So that's
issues.
not gonna affect anything with the flow out of Yent Bow or the flow in?
Yep.
And people will be able to mullet fish and not get on those rocks and stuff?
Correct.
Okay, because they go all that whole area right in there. And that was my concern, because Yent Bow has got to flow. That's the way it is.
No, there shouldn't be any issues with that.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, this is phase two?
We label it weird. It's phase two of construction.
Okay.
So we've done phase one with the public, the lands, and then we'll do phase two with a few private property owners, and then phase three will be a little bit more private property owners.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking is you was talking about from the school east, and then the chairman brought up in front of TDC, which is back west,
So that will be our phase three.
okay, phase three.
Yeah, so we're
All
still
right.
working on permitting for phase three, but we should get that wrapped up pretty soon.
that's why you asked for the letter. Okay, the permit. I got it now.
There's a lot goes into it. It's, now, are we still, everything's still the same way it was in phase one? We're moving with the same contractors, everything's the same, just?
Yes,
okay.
everything, yeah, we're all good to
Okay.
go. Everything's the same.
Mr. Chairman, I failed, would you please explain to the board and the public, this is ARPC, I didn't say
Oh,
Destiny, this is
yes.
ARPC working again for the
Yes.
county.
Yeah,
Destiny
Ms.
works
Destiny
with
is,
ARPC.
Staff at the Regional Planning Council. She's taken over where, before you had Josh Adams and Evan Blythe. So she has taken that on. They were instrumental in helping get it started. She's going to be instrumental in helping us see it to the finish line. So it's been a good project, and it's meant a lot to Franklin County, and it's actually working. Like they said it was gonna work. There are areas that where you're starting to see, something between the edge of the road and that area. It's filling in, it's growing in like it's supposed to. And, hopefully, one day, FDOT will start paving the road between East Point and Carabel like they said they were gonna do, so we're still looking for that. None of us have anything to do with that, Ms. Destiny, but thank you for being here today.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions?
Yes.
Now, just keep in mind, yeah, Bo.
Yes, ma'am.
I
Thank you.
can't help it.
You're good.
Yes,
Thank
thanks,
you, Ms.
guys.
Destiny.
And by the way, Evan called me the other day.
Oh, yeah?
He said he'd rather be back in Florida. He was in the snow.
That's the way it goes.
But
So is Miss, who's doing this public hearing?
It isn't. Her smiling face is there, and I'm also going to unmute a couple of people.
It's
Billy
11
Fuentes.
o'clock here, and let's get going.
Yep.
All right. All right, Commissioners, as it's now 11, we will now begin the public hearing regarding a possible CDBG project application. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Heather Pullen with Langton Consulting, who can provide some additional program details regarding the range of activities that could be funded. After we hear from Ms. Pullen regarding the available activities, the chairman will then call for public input regarding the county's economic and community development needs. Upon conclusion of this public hearing and receiving the public comments, the board will then decide as to what type of application will be pursued at the next public hearing, which will be held at 11 a.m. on April 15th.
All right.
So Heather, if you want to take it away.
Thank you, Aaron. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. My name is Heather Pullen, and I'm the grant writer from Langton Consulting, who is assigned to develop and submit a grant application to the Florida Department of Commerce for federal fiscal year 2025's Florida Small Cities Community Development Block Grant CDBG program application cycle. The county is eligible to apply for up to $750,000 in the neighborhood revitalization, commercial revitalization, and housing rehabilitation categories, and up to $1.5 million in the economic development category. Construction activities funded through the CDBG program must meet one of the following national objectives. That is, provide benefit to low and moderate income persons, prevent or eliminate slum or blight conditions, or meet a meet a need of recent origin having a particular urgency. The application cycle will open on April 6th, 2026 and close on May 5th, 2026. The purpose of today's first public hearing is to collect public comment from board members and Franklin County citizens on types of CDBG eligible community and economic development activities that you would like for us to consider. If you have a specific project in mind, we welcome you to provide comments on that as well. Eligible types of CDBG activities include, but are not limited to, stormwater drainage projects, paving roads and sidewalks, installing water sewer lines, building a community center or park, improvements to a sewage treatment plant, or rehabilitating low-income homes. I will now pass things back to Chairman Jones to call for public comment and any commissioner comments. The county will review these comments, and at the next public hearing, will inform the public of the project that has been selected as the focus of this grant application. I thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Ms. Heather. Commissioners, before we open for public comment, do you have any questions about any of this? All right. Seeing no questions, this time we'll open up for public comment. This is a public hearing. You do not have to fill out a speaker card to speak. Anyone wishing to speak, this is time for public comment. Mr. Brown, what about online?
Online, if you'd like to speak, please indicate by raising your hand, and we will, hand raised. So soon as that, Mr. Fuentes has raised his hand, and his mic is unmuted, sir.
All right. Good morning, Billy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Hope everyone is having a great day.
Yes, sir.
The CDBG grant projects have always been a very strong part of East Point Water and Sewer's development. the county has always assisted us in these projects. We serve the most marginalized community, and so every little bit of help we can get, it's always appreciated. Now, we have several projects down the pipeline, one that we are focusing on, and with Mr. Williams being there earlier, Team Franklin housing project up Highway 65. We are committed to putting in land and tap connections in kind for this project, but we need assistance with the horizontal infrastructure. Now, we are seeking several different avenues of financing. We've applied to the TRIM fund. We're working with the state fund. But essentially what the 65 project is it will assist us with upgrades and expanding horizontal infrastructure that's already existing up Highway 65. We already have a force main sewer there. We already have water lines, but we currently only utilize a portion of our 12-inch main down CC Land Road. So we need additional upgrades to be able to use that to full capacity. We're looking at potentially an additional ground storage tank, which will help increase fire suppression for the area, and a potential lift station and a chlorine boost station. Those are all part of the 40 acres that the district already has, but as those areas grow, we're going to have additional infrastructure, and certainly to upgrade the existing that's there. The force is capable, and we have capacity at the plant, but I know that at some point, if that project goes to fruition, particularly the rest of the area to develop, we are going to need assistance in that. We also have neighborhoods that need additional assistance. Tucker Road and School Road. The School Road vacuum line is a 3-inch vacuum sewer line that is undersized. Originally, it was only built for the school, and as that neighborhood has grown, we have tied into it, but Tucker is completely without sewer. Given a mandate by DEP to try to get rid of coastal septic tanks. And right now we have no infrastructure there, and vacuum sewer is difficult because it requires engineering and it's a large scale project, so we need assistance with that. We also have the Twin Lakes Road, North Bayshore water and force main areas there. Twin Lakes Road is where our primary water plant is, but there is no sewer along those neighborhoods. And as we are seeing growth more and more and more, people they're being forced to put in septic tanks. They can get water from us, but we run into the septic tank issue, which anything along the coastline with a septic tank is a problem. So we also need assistance there with engineering fees, and we are hoping that we already have property there for a lift station. So it would be an easy thing to put in a lift station and tie it into our force main that runs into Magnolia Ridge. The last project that we're looking at is West Highway 98 and South Bayshore Drive. The main issue there is this. We have a sewer line along Highway 98 headed towards Apalachicola. And as it progresses from 10th Street down to the bridge, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, as that's the way engineers design it. Again, we're seeing the South Bayshore area is already developed, so it's not growing any more than what it already is, but every one of those residents is on septic tanks, and they're right there by the bay. Representative Shove made a statement that, he really feels that that's one of the greatest things that affects our bay, and to mitigate the loss there, especially any kind of flooding or sewer discharge into that areas, we need to be able to install additional infrastructure there. So CDBG grants that we got a few years back that the commission helped us get was for the project here in East Point, where we built the 2 new vac stations, our new water plant. So we've worked with you all and feel that this is appropriate, especially for economic development. Highway 98, that corridor right now is becoming the most active commercial center in Franklin County. Seeing, every kind of building being put there. There's potential growth for additional businesses, and being that East Point in particular, our system is in great shape. It's great to receive, and we are only using about 1/3 of our capacity that we're permitted for. Any kind of infrastructure building and additional customers allows us to add on and still be able to provide, a good service at a reasonable price.
All right. Any other public comment? I don't see any raised hands.
The chairman has asked anyone else that would like to comment, please indicate by raising your hand. No additional hands raised, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Ms. Aaron, what kind of action are we looking at today? Is this all we really needed to do for today, or is there an intended action?
No, Commissioner, this is actually just the public comment period. So we were actually, soliciting public input on the project ideas. I do want to remind the board, in the last funding cycle, we did a housing program, and we did have an issue where we were having a hard time actually getting enough qualified applicants for the program because the income and asset limitations were so restrictive with the CDBG program for the residential program. So I'll just put that out there. I know you all, remember that probably from, last year or so. But this was just to gather public input at this time.
Okay, I got one question, Ms. Aaron. In what is written here, it talks about the county's eligibility. This is for the neighborhood revitalization, commercial revitalization, or housing rehabilitation, or the economic development category, correct? It's not both?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, that was my question too. So we could either get 750 for the neighborhood revitalization or the 1.5 for the economic development category, because I will echo Aaron's sentiment there. I do remember I personally had with CDBG last year a person that was having trouble when they applied. It was just, it was so restrictive. And I think out of last year, how many homes did we actually get out of the CDBG funding? It was more SHIP related funding that we got.
You got a few from CDBG,
yeah.
Yeah.
But
I believe there were 4 commissioners, 4 total, it seems like.
Me personally, I feel like the 1.5 million would be a better ask. Now, I guess we could talk about that further on the April 15th, but I'm okay with that. I guess we're just talking about it today.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask more Aaron and Heather? So what Mr. Fuentes just talked about, well, I'm sorry, I'm not asking him, I'm asking you guys. Would that help the team Franklin goal to put housing higher up 65?
I believe it would.
It would?
Because the infrastructure doesn't quite exist up there yet, I think, and Billy can chime in, but to my knowledge, the infrastructure's not quite there yet.
Yes.
So it would help probably in that aspect as well.
So even if you had a builder today that wanted to start building,
yes, sir,
they can't build without this infrastructure in place because it's horizontal. It's got to go in first.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Aaron, I know we've been through a lot of CDBG stuff through the years and stuff. You're saying installing sewer and water lines is one. I know myself have a bad problem. I think Commissioner Jones said that he had about the fire hydrant. And you have too, Commissioner Ward. Does this help that any at all? Would this help that issue any at all, Aaron, or could it?
Let's see, the installation of fire hydrants. Heather, what is your take on that?
Yeah,
It is eligible, but probably needs to be more specific than just, if we were to add that as a layer into a project, but it needs to be a standalone project. So is there enough to do a standalone project for $750,000?
Yeah. Think about that.
Yeah.
Well, it's also still got to fall under the same income. I mean, there's other practice, not just,
See,
what we need. It's,
and our issue out there in the eastern part is the city of Carabel is your water provider. But I feel an obligation as the county commissioner to help them with their fire hydrants too, because they don't have any past Delaware Street out there to the west, and then they don't have any fire hydrants to the east of Lanark area for a certain amount of time, but or area. But I'm just concerned because we've got to do something about these fire hydrants, and I was just wondering if there's a possibility that you could do that with this funding.
The answer is yes, you could, but as a grant writer, who, you know, I'm used to a lot of federal and state programs, I would be happy, Commissioner, to look into other potential funding sources that may fit better.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Heather.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman, and I'm not sure who to direct this question to, but that you were talking about infrastructure for sewer and water. That strip along 2 Mile right there from the old IGA back to the county line. I mean, you've got all that property right along there. If you know, in the foreseeable future, if anything happens in that area, that would be great to get that off of septic as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that could be something we could throw in there to possibly, you know, bring it up a little, make it a little more attractive or whatever. But I'm not sure how that would work. That would be the city coming then.
It would have to look to the city.
Okay.
I would think it would, because if you tried to do it standalone in whatever is.
It may be the special water district.
Yes. Yeah, it might be.
But I mean, that would be, again, just like Billy was saying earlier with those areas right there along South Bay Shore.
Yes.
I mean, you're right on the water there too.
Yes.
And that's commercial property, so.
We have a lot of septic tanks on the water in Franklin County and around the water.
That just, as we were discussing this, I was just thinking about that area right there, because like I said, that's all commercial property.
It is.
And at some point, I'm sure, you know, I don't have a crystal ball, but one day it will be utilized.
Yeah.
And I would rather have that in place, that infrastructure there, that way that we're not putting it into the water or into our bay. But
Sounds good.
See, we've got a lot of projects.
Oh, it is.
Oh, there's, it's an empty slate.
All right, anything else we need to do, Miss Erin, for this hearing we're having?
No, sir, we'll just evaluate the public feedback and kind of vet the projects, and we'll make a decision at the next public hearing.
All right. Thank you, Miss Erin. And thank you, Miss Heather.
Thank you all.
All right, Michael, before we do your report, let's take a 5-minute recess.
Okay.
Franklin County Board of County Commissioners now back in session. Michael, next, we're doing the Plan and Zone Adjustment Board report, is that correct?
Agreed.
Okay. All right. Ms. Robinson, go ahead.
Good morning. So we have 2 variance requests. These were tabled from the last board meeting, so the county attorney could have a chance to review them. We'll start with the first item. It's a variance request for 1371 Chip Morrison Drive. This is a consideration of a request to construct a seawall within the coastal construction control line. Applicant is requesting to place a 90 by 14 seawall above the mean high water line, but still within the critical shoreline district. Property is located in Alligator Point, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Josh Hall, Backroads Consulting LLC, applicant representative, for Jennifer Blanky, applicant. And this did have a contingent motion from the P&Z board. The minutes reflect that a motion to recommend approval was made by Jeremy Putnell and seconded by Corey Cates. The recommendation is contingent upon all required permits being obtained, as the project is within the CCCL. And should the permitting process require modification to the proposed design, then the revised design must be returned to the board for review and approval. All were in favor and none opposed. And there's a visual up on the screen in the boardroom for you. I do believe the applicant made a few revisions, so I would like to ask them to explain those when they have a chance to speak.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions before the applicant explains the things that Ms. Bree was talking about?
I don't have any questions, Mr. Chairman. I do have some comments, but I can wait.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, you have the floor.
Good morning.
Floor.
We did make some changes. We
I'm
eliminated.
sorry, what's your name?
I'm sorry. I'm Jessica Williams
Okay,
with
go ahead,
Backroads. This is Scott Davis.
Okay.
Scott Davis.
Yeah,
Howdy.
We understood the concerns about the sea turtles, and we removed the rocks in front of the seawall, so that should eliminate that entire issue.
Since the last meeting, we had multiple correspondences with FDEP. We went ahead and discussed the wall, and what we arrived at was that we should remove the riprap, which would be a chief concern for sea turtles to get stuck. There was concurrence on that, so we went ahead and had the engineer redesign the wall and submit it. FDEP is in receipt of it right now. We had a meeting with them last week. You know, it's FDEP, usually takes a few weeks for them to get back with us.
Right.
But they have that, and there is still no compliance issue with the site whatsoever. Everything is just par for the course. And all we need in order for them to complete their RAI review is for the county to say that we will approve this wall so that they can approve the wall once they're done with their review. But every environmental component from mean high water line to sea oats to turtles, everything is being comprehensively reviewed by FDEP right now. And they're certainly not going to issue a permit if there is any environmental issue that would arise from that development.
Okay. Any questions, Commissioners?
Just one, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Are you still requesting for the 90-foot, I mean, the 90 inches by 14-foot, see, that's got to be 90 foot. Somebody's made an error right there. Y'all still asking for the 90 foot and the 90 times 14 foot high seawall? Are y'all still asking for that? Or you said the engineer redesigned some of that? What did they redesign? Because I thought if it was a redesign, it was supposed to go back to planning and zoning or something on that one that I read at the last meeting. Remember that when I read that? What the
So is this still 10 foot tall?
Yes.
Okay.
It's 10 foot, not 14 foot.
Well, the 14, some of it was in the
ground.
In the ground, correct?
Yep.
I'm trying to remember. Is that correct,
Yes.
Mr. Scott? Yeah.
Because the guy said 8 foot. But now, see, that's what I'm saying. It's so confusing.
Is that, Mr. Chairman, I guess what Commissioner Sanders is asking, it does say that should the permitting process require modifications to the proposed design, the revised design must be returned to the board for review and approval. I guess the question is this considered a design change that would indicate, and I don't know who can answer this, maybe Bree can, if this needs to go back to P&Z or if this is something that we can proceed with today on voting?
So based on their comments, it seemed like the request has been lessened, if anything, and the motion made by the P&Z board was specific to revised designs required by DEP as part of the permitting process. Maybe Scott or Jessica could answer if these modifications were voluntary just based on board comments at the last meeting, or if these were required by DEP to move forward.
They were voluntary. DEP had no formal request at all. They just simply told them to stop the work, and we heard the comments from the last meeting, so we decided to make the changes necessary.
So in other words, Mr. Chairman, Bree's saying it basically is less than what they were asking for. So would that, again, obviously, I'm getting from Bree that maybe it doesn't need to go back to P&Z because it was less than the design.
It was not more.
It was not more. Right. I'm just trying to clarify that.
That's what I was wondering as well.
Okay.
Any more questions for them? I do have a public comment card, that's why I'm asking.
Mr. Chairman, this is David Theriak. Y'all had tasked me with looking into this. Would you like me to weigh in now or after public comment?
No, you can go ahead now.
All right, I reached out to Doug Ahrens. He's a professional engineer. He's the Coastal Construction Control Line Program Administrator for DEP. We had calls on Monday and Tuesday. He informed me that they received revised plans on March 9th. He emailed the plans to me yesterday. I emailed them to Michael Marone yesterday as well. He informed me that one property owner still has not paid a permit application fee. The initial plans that were submitted, he did not believe were permittable. He believes that the revised plans are potentially permittable, but there are still some issues with the proposed design. FWC will need to review the plans. And he did indicate that DEP will review the revised plans and evaluate potential for erosion on adjacent properties. He informed me that he thought there may be an issue with the seawall proposed on the Blanky property regarding impacts to the adjacent property. So my recommendation is, if y'all are inclined to grant a variance for a seawall, that you grant the variance, but you make it contingent upon FDEP approving the revised plans. And I would suggest that we add a sentence that this approval of the variance in no way supports or rejects the design, because that's solely within the purview of FDEP. And I would not like the applicant to be able to point to their variance as support for the design.
Okay. All right, any questions for Attorney Commissioners? Attorney Theriak, thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Did you have something, ma'am?
The plans that he has are not the latest revised plans. We've only finished those in the last several days to a week.
Okay.
They were submitted last Monday to FDEP.
Okay.
I would like to chime in. Jessica, what you sent me this morning is what is on the screen for everyone. There's 4 pages in it, so if there's anything you would like for me to show the room, just let me know and I can flip to that page.
Thank you.
So we do have public comment on this, Mr. John Perry.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you, Commissioners. Taking a look at this picture up there.
Mr.
right?
Berry. Please
John
address the
Berry.
board. Please address the board.
Okay. 1389 Alligator Drive. Alligator Point.
Yep.
That picture that's up on the wall shows 3 properties. 1380, I want to say 1369, 71, and 73. My understanding is, one, there can't be a contiguous seawall on 2 properties owned by different people. That's, I may be wrong, but it's my understanding of what I read. The second thing is, when you look at the seawall and the removal of the brick-brack, whatever it was, I don't understand if it's going to be, was it intended to be on the interior of the seawall or the exterior of the seawall? I've heard interior, which has an currently illegally dump brick-brack in there, of which the seawall is to keep and contained. So bottom line is, if you want the Great Wall or the wall that's in the Game of Thrones that's 10 feet high to protect it, I think you need to think long-term about the erosion of Alligator Point and downstream, because we've seen it occur in the past over the last 50 years. And I think that's all I want to have. I understand they need to protect their property, but I think they came a little bit too late to the show, because I think the property has been damaged quite a bit. In fact, the picture that you saw or given to you of a seawall that was there got tore up by Helene, and it got thrown way up on their property. So those are the 2 points. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. All right, Commissioners, y'all have any questions?
So my question is, historically, have we approved seawalls of this nature? Bree, can you answer that?
Not in this area, not built like this. I mean, it's been a seawall, but it hadn't been way up, so, you know, there had been a seawall. There had been seawall approval. But where you're talking about is where it was east of this property was repetitive damage every time. Now this is the area of the repetitive damage. And so that's, I mean, it's like fighting a losing battle. But I mean, I'm like Mr. John Berry said, people have a right to try to protect their property. But
and that was where I was. My other question is, this there's repetitive damage here. You know, is there? I mean, would, you know, I guess as the homeowner, will we try to protect that property? You know, if there's repetitive damage.
Mr. Chairman, I've got, first of all, I got some statements, but I do actually have a question for Attorney Theriak. But I did call DEP. I spoke with Miss Solora Jackson there. She's the CCL seawall permit, one of the specialists. I did ask about, there are definitely many rules with DEP. They do, I know last time we tabled this because it was a lot of questions. One was about a hydrology study. They don't do hydrology studies. They do what's called, they do a vulnerability study about the erosion control on the other properties. They do what's called a S-Beach model. And the difference between, it's equivalent to the hydrology report. The difference is based on the years of flood storm. So they do like a 15-30 year flood versus a 100-year flood storm. And so DEP does this study, and they feel like it's better than a hydrology study. So that was my question about that, which is one of the reasons why the last time we had concerns. There's all kinds of rules with the vulnerability study. It's in their on their website. I was able to pull it up, and I know Mr. Berry brought up the contiguous building a seawall, but I know there's 3 properties and it can't be contiguous. It can be contiguous, but DEP has to rule whether or not, and they termed it, it's called closing of the gap provision. And it can be contiguous, but there's certain criteria that have to be met in order for that provision to be allowed. So my question for Attorney Theriak is, and maybe this can simplify our thought processes today, because I thought about this long and hard. If we hypothetically vote in favor of this variance, it's still up to DEP. They could come back and say they do not comply, their sketch doesn't comply. We've done our S-Beach study, and it's going to cause too much erosion on the adjacent properties. It doesn't basically go by their criteria. Our vote today is null and void, even if hypothetically we say yes, DEP can come back and say no. And then, they just need a letter from us saying that we approve it for them to move forward, right? Am I right,
That is
Attorney Theriak?
And that was
You are correct.
my question too.
Okay. So really, all they're asking is a letter for us to say we approve it. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. They could come back and say no. And it sounds like DEP's already got questions and concerns. So really and truly, I think we're overcomplicating this by us saying yes to this, then they're going to get this seawall and whatever they're asking for. I think by us just saying, if we hypothetically vote in favor, is sending a letter to DEP saying that we approved it, they can move forward with their review of this request, but still, at the end of the day, can say no. That's what we need to really focus on, in my opinion. Not what DEP is going to do or not do, what they require, what we require. Our county does not require any of this, and the reason why is because anything like this is going to have to go through DEP anyway, so why would we have to require it when they're going to require it? That's my thought and opinion. I don't know if that helps or hurts or makes it more complicated, but that's kind of all I had to say about that.
And I think what Attorney Theriak said also addresses that.
Yeah.
Your vote to approve a variance would allow them to have a seawall within that critical zone. You're not approving a particular seawall. I mean, that's DEP who's going to bless or deny the seawall. You're allowing for the location of a seawall within a certain location.
In other words, Mr. Theriak, in other words, we're approving the variance and not approving the seawall.
That's correct.
Okay.
And Commissioner Ward, I spoke with Solera as well. She indicated that her boss had more information, which is why I ended up calling her boss, which was Doug Ahrens. They were both very helpful.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I agree, Attorney Theriak. She did the same thing with me. She gave me that contact, which I did forward to Bree so she could have a contact for any time this comes up in the future, so.
Okay. Well, now, let me ask a question, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind. Bree, let me ask the question. What is the variance? How much of a variance are they requesting?
I don't think there's a specific amount to that. The code just references that you need a variance in order to place a seawall, which then triggers state permits and on and so forth. So I think the blanket statement is just variance for a seawall on this property.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
I've got a question, and I understand it's a variance, but I think a lot of it is the height is where a lot of people, I think, are having heartburn with it. But my question, this may be more of an engineering question, but if it was 4 foot versus 10, would it still create the same issue with the erosion potentially? I mean, I don't know if we, if it was a 3 foot. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm just curious if anybody's got any answers to that. I don't know if that's in y'all's window or what.
It would be more effective if it were.
The higher?
Higher, of course.
Effective as far as the property or the erosion that comes around it. I mean, that's what I'm assuming.
Correct.
Is just looking at it, because it looks like just over time to me, and again, I'm not an expert, but it just looks like that erosion keeps walking back to the west every time we get a storm. So I'm just curious if the height had anything to do with that or whatnot. But.
And Mr. Chairman, I think, and then talking with DEP, these are studies that they can't do until we give them the vote. So none of these are all answers we can't, questions we can't answer until they can't, they're basically dead in the water if we say no, or hypothetically say no, or table it again, and it's a moot point at that point. But me personally, I feel like we give them the variance, then that can give them the permission to proceed again, because DEP at the end of the day is gonna have the final say. And then they're gonna do all these vulnerability studies, the S Beach model study to determine all these things, I guess. If that helps.
Any other questions or concerns? What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I personally don't see a problem with approving this, because again, at the end of the day, DEP still can come back and say no. And then it's a moot point. But if we say no, then they're dead in the water, so to speak. And I feel like, you know, people should be able to protect the property from erosion. So I'm gonna throw this out there and make a motion to approve, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve.
Contingent on FDEP approval.
All right, and the comments from attorneys area.
Correct.
All right. So we do have a motion to approve.
Second.
From Commissioner Ward, we have a second from Commissioner Crew. Any discussion, commissioners, before we vote?
I got some discussion.
All right.
I'm going to let you know that my vote's going to be no. It's the principle of it. And I've been a commissioner down there a long time. And I've saw the damage that continual erosion does. And as I said before, I understand that they need to protect their property. But what cost? Is it going to be enough to cause damage more to the west of it than what has already caused? I don't know, but I'm not going to sit here and say yes to something that I know could potentially cause damage down the line, and I'm not going to do that.
Can I make a quick
Additional
comment?
discussion.
I think Bree wanted to comment.
Was that you, Bree?
Bree, was that you?
That was me.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Hold on.
I just
hold on.
wanted to,
Hold on just a second.
go ahead.
Any additional discussion before we vote? All in favor? Any opposed?
No.
That's unanimous. Oh, you
I
said no?
oppose.
Okay. Well, we knew that. You said
Yeah,
it.
it-
So it's a 3-2 vote. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to remind you guys gently that this was two different property owners, and the reason to continue the wall is because the wall is most effective when it is a continuous wall.
Yeah.
However, we're dealing with Blinky currently, but Bueno, you guys actually already approved that variance a few months ago. We did this. And so the other end, you guys actually approved. So to your question of, have you guys approved these before? You approved the other end just a few months ago. So I just wanted to remind you guys that you had in fact
All
done
right.
them.
Thank you. Ms. Bree?
Thank you.
So
Yes,
item
thank
B.
you. So we just finished discussion on 1371 Chip Morrison Drive. So we do have a second item because they are separate parcels. We now enter into 1373 Chip Morrison Drive. This is a consideration of a request to construct a seawall within the coastal construction control line. Applicant is requesting to place a 90 by 14 foot seawall on the coastal front and 60 feet tapered to grade seawall on the west side of the property to all be placed above the mean high water line, but within the critical shoreline district. Property is located in Alligator Point, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Josh Hall, Backroads Consulting LLC, applicant representative for Jennifer Blanky, applicant.
All right. Since you guys just presented or discussed it with us, one that was very similar, do you have anything additional to add to this variance request, or are you good? Ma'am? Or do you
I'm
have
sorry.
anything additional to add, or are you good with what we've already discussed?
I'm good with what we've already
Okay.
discussed. This is just the continuation of the wall into that second property, their second property
All
that
right.
attaches to the other first with the
Any
house.
questions, commissioners? Mr. Berry, do you want to publicly comment? You have it filled out? No, sir, it's going to happen up here, it's not going to happen at all. You filled out for both of them, that's why I called your name, sir.
Thank you very much. No, again, my concern is the future erosion that goes down the coast and the historical pattern of it. Again, going back to 1369, we did get an approval on that portion. And at that time, this drawing here showed it was a continuous wall. And the pictures, I think I've furnished some pictures. If you'll look at it, you can see the whole scope of the wall itself. The main thing is that 1369 is almost in the water currently. Where your mean high tide line is very, very close to where the property line is. Yet it shouldn't be, because the mean high tide line should be way out in the water from the way this property has been eroded over time. The main thing, though, is, again, you're going to affect downstream housing to the west, property owners to the west over time. You may be here, you may not be here. I know I won't, but speak up now. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. All right, Commissioners, you have anything to ask Attorney Theriak?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Instead of repeating everything that we just went over on the first variance, I would recommend incorporating by reference the comments that Ms. Robinson and I made during the first variance.
Yes, sir. Sounds great. What's the pleasure of the board?
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve contingent on FDEP approval and Mr. Theriak's response and Ms. Robinson's response.
Okay.
And with a comment.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
I second it
seconded by
on those
Commissioner Crew.
provisions.
Any additional discussion before we vote?
I
Or
do
you said
have-
you have a comment? Go ahead.
Well, I personally don't think that DEP is going to approve anything that they feel like that's going to affect someone negatively. Again, this is just a letter for them going. I honestly, when DEP comes down, if this passes hypothetically, I know it did on the one, they're gonna come down and they're gonna look at all this. And there's a good chance they're gonna say no. That's my thing, is I don't think DEP, that's why they have all these rules, that's why they have this 62B33.1002 in their rules, is they're gonna look at all this and decide themselves if this is going to affect vacant other property owners. It's going to, this study is going to determine the erosion. That's what I based my decision on. Is I don't think the FDEP is going to allow anything that they think is going to harm anybody. But that's my thought. That's my thought process. I'm one of 5. That's why I voted in favor of these, and in speaking with DEP.
All right. Any additional discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Opposed.
So 3-2 vote passes. Thank you, Ms. Bree. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Anything else from you, Ms.
Thank
Bree,
you.
before we move on to the meeting?
That is all from me. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. Mr. Morone?
Commissioners, page 10 of the agenda, 2 action items. One, of course, is a proclamation, Men's Health. That was attached to my report. Men's Health Week, I apologize. The other is 2 small ship overages as we reconcile the past ship accounts to close out the previous years that we need to close out or move on. One was a $400 overage, the other was $290. We just need board approval to move on to be able to close out those two accounts, those two application files. So you can do both as one motion, that's fine with me.
Commissioners, do y'all want to discuss either one of these, or are you good with a motion to take it in both? Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve both.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison. It's been seconded by Commissioner Crew. Any discussion, Commissioners? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Commissioners, item number 3 is a discussion, possible action item. I was forwarded a letter that the Riverkeeper sent to the Corps about the dredging project. I know this board has been talking about that for many meetings. I figured you would want me to present that for discussion and see if you want to send a letter of support for the project. Again, we've talked about that many times. I will bring to your attention, because it came in late this morning, there was a letter, someone in the community asking you to table this until the river keepers could be here. That is y'all's choice. And that's it. That's all I have.
Yep. Well,
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yep, go ahead.
I mean, I'm off, if this board wants to table it, that's fine, but, we engaged with the RCSC. We've, went in and, I don't want to say twisted, but put in our own language, the, help me out here with
the
resolution?
With the memorandum. And, I mean, we've already publicly talked about how we are in favor with dredging, as long as it's done, in a proper manner. So I don't really see, me personally, why we need to kick it down, but that's up to us. But, I mean, I think our intentions are pretty clear with it. But that's just, like I said, that's just me. But
yeah. We're not passing any legislation today if we ask to do a letter of support. So I don't think it's nothing necessary that we need to. In other words, we're not going to hold a public hearing on writing a letter. I will say this, and I've been out on the river with some people, I had some people take me out there. There are issues. I don't deny that. But where my problem is if we say we're opposed to any dredging activity, none of those issues ever get resolved because there's not going to be anybody out there working. So I say if they're wanting to dredge the river and do things to help what's eventually going to help us, because like it or not, we're down at the bottom. That's been the whole problem with the river the whole time, with the discussions on the water wars, all this stuff. We went to a thing in Tallahassee, a symposium about the Apalachicola River, and it was a great big deal. They had us at, the Touchdown Club there at FSU, and there was a bunch of people there. But, my problem was they wanted to have the discussion like, well, Georgia's having their own water problems, and they were. But I said, let's forget Florida, let's put out Apalachicola where Bainbridge is at. Now how do you discuss it? Now how are you concerned?
A lot of them don't.
Because it all ends up here.
Yeah.
So if they're going to do any dredging, that's great. We have a way to try to address maybe some modifications that can help so we don't repeat what has turned out to be past failures. But if we say no, we're opposed to it altogether, then what are we doing talking about anything? We don't need to talk about protecting shorelines. We don't need to talk about dredging the river. If you lose your house, forget it. Don't worry about insurance. What are we trying to do protections and move forward for if we're not going to fight for things that we know are going to help us? I don't see any reason not to support dredging on the river. It'll never be what it used to be. Okay, I'm not looking for that. But some of the complaints that I've heard, and I could be wrong, were with the way it is now, fish are getting pushed out to the edges sometimes. They are, because water goes to the port of least resistance. But that's because the middle's filling up. So it's pushing it further out. I mean, there are very simple causes to what's going on. Historically, it's been a dredged river. I don't see the problem with it being dredged again. That's how it was used historically. The commerce that did go there, like I'll tell you this, and then I'll shut up. Mr. Richard Williams was here at our last EDC meeting from Opportunity, Florida. And he said, guys, I get it. This is exactly where you're at. Everybody talks about the chicken or the egg. He said, here's what I'll tell you. Here's my advice. Go one way or the other, but pick a direction and go. Don't worry about it, try to get the chicken first or the egg first, pick a direction and go. That's all I'm saying as a board, I want us to pick a direction and go. I want us to support what they're wanting to do, and maybe we can try to get conversation about taking care of some of those places where the sand did get back into the river. And can we set it up working with these counties in Florida, because that's what I'm worried about, Florida, to where the sand can be put in areas going forward, that it can be gotten to and removed by the counties or the municipalities, or, can we work together and work something out? Not, you're not doing what I want you to do, so let's just shut it down. Because we just, in the last couple of years, supported the river keepers in getting a dredge permit on the Apalachicola River for East River and for the canals. So if we're not gonna dredge the main part of the river, why are we worried about the sloughs? They're gonna fill in too, just like the rest of it does. I mean, that's where I'm personally at, and I'll leave it alone.
A long time ago, when we got it talking about the water wars and stuff like that, they were talking about, the Army Corps of Engineers was talking about, well, we're not worried about, we said, why don't you come, if you want to know and help Apalachicola River and the basin, why don't you come down the river and have your monitoring station outside that river where the water pours down the river?
Yes.
No, we don't do that. So they won't never find the real.
They don't want that information.
They don't want to find what the real answer is, and the real answer is everything's being used up there and not flowed down like it needs to be. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm like honest. It doesn't matter to me, if y'all want to table this or not. But we do need to move on this. We've been.
My name, Mr. Chairman, and Commissioner Sanders, is that the river keepers here, I'm not going to change my opinion on it. Because, I've read through everything, and theirs is a zero tolerance, basically. There's no compromise there. And I will tell you this, and I've said it publicly before, I'll repeat myself. Again, I'm no expert at anything, but I do have a little bit of common sense, and I know in order to float a boat, float any boat, float a boat barge, they're going to have to turn some water loose to get that commercial traffic moving.
Right.
And whenever they turn that water loose, it's got to go one way, and that's to us. So, especially like right now, take for instance this drought period we're in right now, the likelihood right now of Lanier and them releasing any water is none, zero. But now if there was a more pressure, we need water down to keep these boats going, I'm just using an example, commercial-wise. What are they going to do? They're going to have to let some water loose. Water's going to have to come down that river, and we're going to be the beneficiary of that. Again, if you want to go down a rabbit hole and just spend a bunch of time on doing some unnecessary research, go and look at the worldwide shortage of sand. That's crazy. I don't know how in the world I wound up on YouTube. But there is a way to take this material and do something productive with it.
Yes.
Now, I understand that the Corps is going to put it in an area, then it's going to come to DEP. DEP is going to have to issue those permits to the counties. But there is a way to use that material and get it out of there to where we don't have what we had years ago.
Yes.
And that's called being good stewards of what we're doing.
Yes.
And I want to have that discussion. I don't want to have a zero tolerance. We're not doing nothing. We're just, we're dead against it. And that's not the attitude that I want to take with this. I want to see production. I want to see things moving in the right direction. And I think that it can be accomplished if everybody works together and we don't have everybody on one side of the table or the other, and that's just it.
Well, and
that's where I feel is what's happening, is that you just got this one here saying we're going to do it this way, and this one saying it's this way, and there's nowhere in the middle. There's got to be some room in there, and that's where I want to get at and have a talk. So.
And my thing is, I want Franklin County and Apalachicola River and Apalachicola Bay to be a forethought, not an afterthought.
Yep.
And that's what it's been here lately, is an afterthought.
we didn't realize that was bothering you. We didn't realize. Do whatever you got to do to take care of the job. Do whatever you got to do.
Well, in the past, and I know there's been some judgments based on this, and I think, I'm not quoting a judge, but I can kind of get close to where, you know, they, when it was the water wars, you know, that I'd heard some discussion, and it was said that, you know, I'm not going to pick a shellfish over a human, you know, as far as water needs go.
Right.
And, you know, that's fine. That's where you go, if that's your stance. But what you could do here is use that against them. Well, you got to float that boat. So you got to turn some water that loose. Guess who's going to get it? We're going to get it on the south end. It's got to come to the sea. So, but anyway, that's just where I feel. I mean, but if this board wishes, we can. I'd be more than glad to have that discussion with the riverkeeper sitting up there. So.
Well, I'm sitting in the middle calling balls and strikes, so it's up to y'all.
And if you guys do approve it, what I'll do, the chairman and I will sit down, get the letter out. I'll make sure I circulate that letter, take your comments. If we have to, we'll revise it, and then we'll send it out. So.
Well, I'll make a motion that we send the letter in support.
So we do have a motion from Commissioner Amison to send this letter to about supporting the dredging of the river to the core.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Croom. Any additional discussion, commissioners? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous vote.
All right, Mr. Chairman, we did 4 and we did 5. Let's get to 6, and this is actually on you. Chairman Jones would like to discuss a possible unintentional consequence affecting a current employee that is planning to retire. It is based on your retiree health insurance subsidy policy. I believe Mrs. Erin Griffith sent you that maybe a week and a half ago, if not longer. So that, the chairman's going to jump in, and then I didn't. It's not I didn't ask for an action item because my intention is once you guys talk about it, I'll take your comments, forward that to our labor attorney, and have him send back an option that the board wants an option to get this done.
Well,
if that's the way you
what
want
I'm
to go.
talking about won't involve the labor attorney.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I just, yeah.
It won't involve the labor attorney. Yeah, I've already had several. I've been talking with the labor attorney about this since last November.
Oh, okay.
We've talked about it 3 or 4 times. So simply in the policy, if you'll remember, Commissioners, the very last sentence was, this would be effective for any employee hired by the county from 2017 and onward. The unintended consequence is we had a county employee that lost county employment for a period, but they have been county employees for almost 20-something years, way before 2017. So what I would like to ask the board to do is consider that Ms. Connie Polis did not have a break in service because she didn't quit. That was a dispute between her and an elected official in a at-will office. So that would be my suggestion to the board. If you want to talk about discussing, I'm good with that. But you know, we've had other employees in the past that we had to let go during the housing crisis. And we hired them back, and said, well, there's no break in service. We're going to consider your time to be full. You had 2 years there, but you're not starting fresh here. You're starting at the two-year mark. So that's all I'm saying.
So all we need to do is recognize and just say that we didn't see a break there in her service?
Yep. That's what I think. Yeah.
So no change to the policy?
No change to the policy at all.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, Mr.
No, I'm just
Chairman.
trying to address this unintended consequence.
Yeah, and I'm all for that, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
But my question is maybe do we need to change the policy to reflect something like that? So that
Maybe.
anybody else in the future is not affected
Maybe.
by the same issue?
Maybe.
And the board's not having to come back and readdress
Yes.
that individual person?
I don't think it'll happen a lot because.
Especially if it's a wrongful termination,
Yes.
and it's been
Yes.
decided that way.
Yes. So, I don't know all the specifics of that, but what I do know is this benefit to our county employees only lasts to a certain time frame. And I think with this particular employee, it's probably less than a 2-year, you know what I mean? It's not extended for forever is what I'm saying.
Can we, Mr. Chairman, hypothetically make a motion saying this in particular employee, Ms. Polis, is contingent, her employment's contiguous, but changing direct staff to redo the policy with
If
our
you
labor
want to do
attorney?
that, I think it needs to be two separate motions.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was
would
asking.
think.
Yeah.
Okay.
One to recognize her continuous service, the other to instruct us to send it to the labor attorney for, for possible changes to it, options that you guys could review and discuss.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we recognize the continuance of service, Ms. Poles.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any additional discussion on this item?
Mr. Chairman, when we vote on this, well, let's vote on it, and then I'll ask the question.
Okay. Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. What's your question, Commissioner?
So, now that we've passed this, what do we need to do? Do we need to send a
Actually, you don't need a
letter?
motion, just direction to reach out to Trevor,
Labor
to
attorney.
the
Okay.
labor attorney, and ask him to provide some options for you guys to review. When you pick one of the options,
Yes.
then I'll ask the chairman for a motion to
Okay.
pick that option and move on and change the
Okay.
policy
Well, I was talking
officially.
about Ms. Connie, because that was this motion.
Oh!
What's gonna, is she gonna be able to get
Yes. well,
retroactive,
yes,
or
what you
how
guys-
does that? Okay,
Well, yeah, there's nothing to retroact.
okay.
Because, so the benefits we're talking about would be provided to county employee, and is provided to county employees after they retire up to a certain age. So it's not a continuous benefit, it's not a right now benefit, because presently I don't think she's still retired yet.
This vote gives her the ability
To
to
retire,
do that.
yes.
To go back,
Yes.
okay.
So once she
Yes, you
retires,
do
then
that.
that's when this will kick in.
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, she
Right.
can't do it because we don't have it.
I just wanna
It's
make
not
sure that
continuing.
what we did today is gonna help.
Continuing, I think that's what the policy reads
Yes.
now.
Yeah,
It's
but
10
hers is
years.
over 20.
Yeah, I know that, until she was,
Yes.
you know.
Wasn't no years on the policy though, right? It was just after a certain date?
It was after that certain date.
Yeah.
It was like, it was
Just
effective
double
for, all new hires is what it was designed for, but it's not worded that way.
Yeah.
That's why we need
She
to
got,
change the policy.
she got messed up bad on that.
Yeah, but anyway, I think this addresses it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead if it's okay too, and make a motion that we review the policy, have our labor attorney review the policy and make changes, so this doesn't affect any other employee in the
Okay.
future.
We don't need a motion on that, though.
Yep.
You just need direction.
Direction
and
is
then we
fine,
can
Commissioner.
Okay.
Just direction
All
is
right.
fine.
Very good.
Okay.
Is that good, Michael?
Yes, sir, I'm good. Let me write this note, I'm a man, I can't do more than one thing at a time.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, there we go.
We outnumber them right now, so don't say that.
Okay,
Give away secrets.
so we've done 7, by the back, eight. So, the master class that we had put on by FAC, Denise, it was really good. I didn't send all you guys the pictures. You had a lot of employees, both county constitutional officers. They engaged, and I'm speaking about the one about customer service and then the First Amendment. They engaged both Denise on customer service. They engaged the attorney on First Amendment. Actually, there was a lot of engagement with the attorney on First Amendment, but I'll leave that there. It was good. It was very positive, good feedback. And actually, it was so good that some of the attendees went to Denise and said, which is something I didn't know existed, we are also covered through cybersecurity, through FAC. So she has a class for that. So that is the next class that she is working on for the staff. That's what they asked for, with Commissioner Cruz's blessings, of course. He kind of started this from the ground floor, but it was really good, guys. We all learned something, the difference between, there's different rules for county space versus county buildings, when it comes to First Amendment and recording, et cetera. She did very good with explaining how to de-escalate issues with customer service. So it was very good, Commissioners. I just want to let you guys know that was well. And it was, as the chairman has said many times, if it's free, it's for me. It was free. So yes, it worked out really good.
Real good.
Next is, have your dates. Destiny talked to you guys. And while we were meeting, I did get a text from Eagle Tree. They are still working on the migration from .com to .gov, so they should be calling you. They said at the end of the week. I don't think they realize we're closed on Friday. they might call you, I don't know what their schedule is, between the end of this week and next week to merge the .com and .gov, where you'll be checking one email and be getting all your email at one location. So that's coming really soon. So just want you guys to be aware, look out for that call. Hey, Commissioner, I think that's all I have for you guys. And not to speak for him, Attorney Theriak is next. He's basically just been working with us, and we've just been sending him stuff, and he's working on those. I don't know if he may have some comments or might want to just give you guys a summary of what he's been doing, but that he doesn't have a printed report per se, and I told him that wasn't necessary. He's here to answer your questions and let us know all the things he's been, as the meeting progressed, he spoke up on the items he's been working on, but trust me, he's working a lot more than that, so, yeah.
Commissioners, good afternoon. I think it's afternoon, I'm not sure.
It's close.
And thank you for allowing me to serve as the interim county attorney. While I've worked with your all folks for many, many years, I've never worked day to day with Michael Marone and Bree and Aaron. You got a great team. We're interacting on multiple issues every single day, and we're moving forward. The two big ones that we already covered was the Duke Energy land swap. We're ready for closing. And then y'all had directed me to reach out to DEP on the seawall, and we've already covered that. We've got other issues that we've been touching upon. The 8th Street Dune walkover, the landing may be coming in with a residential subdivision. We're still looking at processing the landing C3 commercial site plan. I've got a phone call with Denise Rowan tomorrow on the Serenity Resort. So you've got a lot of issues that are bubbling up, and thank you for allowing me to help.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I just gotta say, just a little funny tidbit. You said thank you for giving you trouble that's bubbling up.
I didn't say trouble.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I would be remiss, and I didn't get a chance at the hearing to say this about the fire suppression. I have to agree with Commissioner Sanders and Commissioner Amison. For me, fire suppression is a public health issue, and it is tied to economic development. It is tied to business and residential safety. It is a massive issue that does not get enough attention. So these grant projects, when I state horizontal infrastructure, that includes fire hydrants. Fire hydrants should be every 500 feet according to the Florida Administrative Code. And we experienced a massive fire years ago in East Point that took out 36 homes. Our system fed 100 fire trucks for 8 hours straight. And even with houses burning down, water coming out of meters, we had enough infrastructure in place to supplement all of that while we still had leaks. And I can tell you that these grant projects for infrastructure, the fire hydrants are vital. Our design includes that. And in Carabel and the city of Apalachicola, it is drastically important to have that included in any kind of economic talk, because if you have anything where it's a hospitality issue, residential development, anything like that, you can't have that without fire suppression. It is vital. So I would be remiss in not agreeing with that and have it put on record as being such important to it.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
I've got something for Michael.
All right, go ahead.
And it won't take just a second. I received this letter this morning from the fire department down in Alligator Point. And they need a better way of getting to the fire hydrant down there to do their training exercises and stuff. And they see a better way is the cul-de-sac that is out there at Tom Roberts Road, right in there, across from the fire department. There's a fire hydrant there. That's part of the main line coming in there. So they said it's easier to do this. I want to turn this letter over to Michael, because he's going to have my computer anyway, and have him get with Mr. Theriak, and y'all look at what we need to do to see if we can accommodate the the Alligator Point Fire Department on this request that they've made.
Okay.
Okay? So at this time, I will unplug this thing and give it to you. But I did want to bring it up to the board because it's about fire hydrants and stuff, so. But anyway.
One other thing from Michael, from me, but I need to get with you and let's get some names and some people together.
Okay.
For all this job y'all done put me with right here, you know,
Oh, yeah.
I gotta get my team together.
Yeah.
So I'll be in touch with you the next day.
Yes, sir.
I'll give you this afternoon off.
Thank you.
And you know, I know Attorney Theriak was praising y'all, but we gotta keep y'all on your toes, so.
Don't let it go to your head.
That's
No, I won't.
Exactly what I was saying.
Oh, Commissioners, I won't. I won't.
Michael, I do have a letter here I want to give you. It
Me,
was sent
sir?
to me, I'm sure, because of the chair, from the Department of Revenue about 9-cent or local option fuel tax.
Only Aaron talks to DOR. I don't, no, just kidding.
You can give it to Miss Aaron.
I sure will.
All right, anything else before we go to commissioner comments? All right, commissioner comments?
I just have one thing, I guess it's a question. So Friday, county staff is off, correct?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Friday,
And
yes,
is
they
that
are.
the courthouse too? Are y'all?
Yes.
Okay, so everyone?
Yes,
Okay.
constitutionals and the county department is
Just
closed.
wanna make sure. Friday and Monday or Friday?
Just Friday.
Friday.
Yeah,
All right, just double checking.
we're not like the school district that gets Easter Monday, if that's, you know.
Some employees.
Some.
Not all.
Not all, that's right, some.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I can't believe no one's made a April Fool's joke today.
Not yet.
Okay.
It's not over
save
with
it.
yet.
Save
I'm
it.
saving mine
Save
for
it.
later today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I know one, he gave me the afternoon off, that's a joke.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, one more thing, Ship, I have a meeting with, Angela and I have a meeting with the custom home representative on Wednesday next week, 11 o'clock, to go over the orders for those two, for Smith.
Yes, the trailers.
Yes, Smith and Turner, those two. We still have to work on, I keep looking at you for doing it, but I need to look at, yes.
Yeah,
we still
just
have to
let me
work on
know
that.
whenever y'all
Yeah, I
need
think
to.
you, me, Steve, and myself, and Bree need to sit down on that one and work it
Okay.
out. So, shape update, we're getting there, we really are.
All right. Any commissioner comments?
I just got one. Y'all all have a blessed Easter.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes for everybody here and everybody out there.
I agree.
Well, I'd like to make sure everybody's aware, we are having a public event at the Ralph Kendrick Dwarf Cypress Forest up in Tate's Hill. We're doing that Friday morning, Good Friday, at 7:05 or 7:06, isn't it now? 7:03.
Yeah.
So, but we're gonna do communion up there, and it's open to anybody that wants to be a part of it. We're not gonna stay there all day, we're gonna be from 7 to about 8:10. But I think it'll be a wonderful thing, and it's in celebration and remembrance, because the scriptures say, as often as you do this, do it in remembrance of me. So that's what we're doing. Any other commissioner comments today? All right, meeting adjourned.